Hello, dear listeners of Dharma in Motion, where we take slow steps through the ever-changing flow of life, so that each breath becomes a rhythm of returning home. Here, we do not escape from life, but learn how to walk through it with a serene heart. Those between 45 and 70 years old have surely gone through many storms. Health changes, children grow up, work sometimes lessens while worries grow heavier. Out there, the world grows louder. Social media carries more praise and blame. The streets get busier, and within, sometimes that noise keeps echoing on. Many times, even after trying our best, our hearts still find no peace. We move through the whirlpool of gain and loss, success and failure, right and wrong, only to realize what makes us suffer is not life's unfairness, but that we have not yet learned how to keep our minds calm amid change. The Buddha taught, "The root of suffering lies not in outer circumstances, but within the mind. When the mind is disturbed, the world appears chaotic. When the mind is still, even amid storms, we can smile and walk through. That image is like a lake. When the water is still, its bottom is clear. Just a gentle breeze is enough to ripple its surface, and the reflections become distorted. Life will never stop the wind, but we can learn not to let our hearts sway with it. Serenity, therefore, is not about withdrawing from the world. It is about keeping a quiet space within, amid all worldly affairs, to hear our own heartbeat, to be grateful for sunlight through the porch, to smile at a bird's distant song. This practice begins very near, right at the breath itself. Breathing in, know that you are alive. Breathing out, smile and release a little heaviness. A small thing, yet not small. When we truly recognize each breath, peace is already present in this moment. We need not wait for the right conditions to be at peace. On the contrary, peace is the condition to see the path. Try with me. Gently place your hand on your chest. Breathe in slowly. Feel your chest bloom like a flower. Breathe out softly. Whisper within, "I am letting go." Just that, and the mind is calmer, the wisdom clearer. At any age, we need such moments of stillness, especially when health is not as before, when memories outweigh plans, and when each day carries its share of discomfort. Mindful breathing is not a complicated ritual. It is a gentle habit, an anchor to keep the mind from drifting away. From the foundation of breath, we can observe our old habit, chasing more money, more praise, more satisfaction. The more we grasp, the more uneasy we become. For the tighter we hold, the greater our fear of losing. One day we realize, true happiness does not come from having more, but from knowing when to stop. Those who know enough are often joyful. Those who endlessly crave can never rest. Knowing enough does not mean giving up aspiration. It means not being enslaved by endless desire. We still do what needs to be done, still care for those we love, still tend to body and mind, but cease comparing with what is not ours. When we cherish what we already have, a roof shielding from sun and rain, a warm meal, a call from a friend, legs still able to step outside, everything becomes complete. In contrast, when we focus only on what's missing, the mind becomes tangled and weary. Someone once told me, "In the past, our family was poor, but gathering for a meal felt so peaceful. Now that we have more, we worry even more." That sentence may sound contradictory, but if we pause and listen, it is a gentle reminder. Peace lies in how we see and live in the present moment. When gratitude is present, joy is easy to find. Drinking a cup of tea can become a meeting with heaven and earth. Grateful for the rain, the tea leaf, the hands that picked and brewed, and our own hands that hold the cup. Eating a meal can also be a miraculous practice. Grateful for the rice field, the sunlight, the cook, and the one sitting beside us. The more grateful we are, the fuller the heart. When the heart is full, no matter how strong the outer winds blow, the inner lake remains still. In modern life, what stirs our hearts is not only bread and shelter, but invisible voices. An online comment, a misunderstanding, a sudden criticism. Today praised, tomorrow blamed. Loved in the morning, resented by evening. People's minds shift like clouds in the sky. If we entrust our peace to others' words, our emotions will drift without anchor. Therefore, amid praise and blame, learn to listen as you would to the wind. Let it pass by your ears. Just be aware, without judgment, without reaction. When the mind is calm enough, praise won't make us proud, blame won't wound us. We remain clear enough to offer feedback and gentle enough to love. This practice does not make us indifferent. On the contrary, it helps us respond mindfully, not led by anger, not bound by fear. And there will be days when sadness holds us back. A loved one ill, unfinished work, unrealized dreams. At such times, please remember what is close: impermanence. Nothing stands still, and no sorrow lasts forever. Understanding impermanence does not sadden us. It helps us love more deeply while we still have each other, to say thank you sooner, to apologize sooner, to let go sooner. When we know that every dawn is new, that today's smile is unlike yesterday's, we naturally wish to live each moment fully, to judge less, and to speak more gently. You can try a small ritual every morning. Open the window, take a deep breath, and whisper, "A new day has come." When evening falls, pour a cup of warm water, breathe slowly, and say, "Another day has passed. I am grateful for having lived it fully." Those whispers are like threads connecting our hearts with life itself, keeping us from getting lost in the habits of complaining or comparing. Keeping the mind calm amid all adversities is not a problem to be solved once and for all. It is a way of living. Each day, a little breath, a little gratitude, a little knowing enough, a little listening as you would to the wind. When storms come, we may not be able to smile right away, but we know how to return to the breath. When criticism arrives, we may feel hurt, but we know to place a hand on our chest and whisper, "I am stirred, I need calm." When joy comes, we do not cling to it. We simply smile and know that joy, like dew on the grass, is beautiful and fragile, and precisely because it is fragile, we cherish it more deeply. Gradually, a cool, spacious calm unfolds within, a place where we can watch clouds drift without naming them, watch waves rise without fear, and look at ourselves with greater gentleness. From that inner space, we step back into daily life with very ordinary acts: tending meals, resting well, walking around the house, calling an old friend, holding a grandchild, cleaning the kitchen corner, wiping a window. Each act can become a practice of mindfulness when we are fully present. Today, as we close this opening part, I offer you a simple yet profound reminder. Peace is not somewhere far away. Peace is present in every mindful breath, in gratitude for small things, in the wisdom of knowing enough amid the modern world. From that foundation, the stories and practices that follow will continue to deepen, step by step, helping each of us, according to our own conditions and without forcing them, learn to live lightly yet steadily, softly yet clearly, still amid movement, peaceful amid change. There is an old saying, "The one who knows enough is the richest." The more years we live, the deeper we understand this. Because in a world that moves ever faster, we easily forget that peace does not lie in how much we have, but in seeing sufficiency in each living moment. Today, everyone is busy, everyone is running after work, after money, after fame, after others' approval. But in all that running, who stops to ask, "What am I running for?" Or, "When I finally achieve it, will my heart truly be at peace?" Some live in grand houses, yet feel empty inside. Some are surrounded by loved ones, yet feel lonely. Some have every material comfort, but lack a peaceful night's sleep. The Buddha once taught, Greed is the root of suffering. Greed is not only for money or power, but also the craving to be loved, to be understood, to be better than others. The more we grasp, the more we fear losing. The more we compare, the more we feel lacking. Like one who drinks salt water, the more they drink, the thirstier they become. Likewise, the more we try to fill the inner emptiness with outer things, the more hollow we feel. Once I met a friend who had everything: a good job, a beautiful home, a complete family. Yet he said, "Every morning I wake up afraid of losing my job, afraid of others surpassing me, afraid of losing what I have." I asked, "Then when do you feel most at peace?" He paused for a long while and said, "Perhaps in those poorer years, when the whole family sat together for a meal and laughed. Life felt simple then." That simple answer was like a bell ringing. It turns out happiness was never far away. It was always there, we just forgot to see it. In life, one who knows enough is not someone without ambition, but one whose gratitude outweighs their desire. When we are grateful, each day becomes a gift. When we know enough, we stop competing, stop comparing. The Buddha taught, "The one who knows contentment, even lying on the ground, still lives in joy. The one who does not know contentment, even in heaven, is never satisfied." This is not just an ancient teaching, but a timeless truth for modern life. When we pause and look around, we realize there are countless things to be grateful for. A warm meal, a roof shielding from sun and rain, someone to talk to, a body still healthy. All blessings we often forget because they seem ordinary. We only notice what's missing after it's gone, forgetting that what we now have was once someone's dearest wish. There are people lying in hospital beds who only wish to walk, to breathe, to hear the birds, things we take for granted. Therefore, one who knows enough lives most deeply, not because they have less, but because they see the value in each small thing. When we drink a glass of water, think of those who thirst. When we sit with loved ones, think of those who no longer can. When gratitude fills the heart, it naturally becomes soft and kind. Someone once asked me, "How can we learn to know enough in this age where everyone wants more?" I replied, "Begin by stopping. To stop is not to abandon everything, but to give the mind a quiet space to recognize what it already has. Each day, spend a few minutes sitting still, breathing slowly, looking around the room and asking yourself, do I truly need more to be happy right now?" Often the answer is no, for peace does not lie in quantity but in awareness. Practice thanking life each morning you open your eyes. Each evening you see the sunset. Each night you sleep in calm. Practice smiling at what is not yet as you wish, for it is through these very moments that we learn patience and understanding. One who knows enough is not without dreams, but does not let dreams become burdens. They still move, still act, but with lightness and peace. I remember one morning meeting an old man selling vegetables in the rain. His cart was old, his clothes soaked, yet he was smiling. Someone asked, "It's raining so hard, aren't you suffering?" He replied, "As long as I still have my legs, I am happy." That single sentence left everyone silent. Within it was the heart of one who had mastered the art of inner sufficiency. He was not rich, yet he was at peace. He did not have much, yet he lacked nothing. Knowing enough does not mean stopping out of laziness. It means not letting desire pull us away from peace. When the mind knows where to stop, everything naturally falls into balance. We may not be able to control the changes outside, but we can choose how to see them, how to live, with gratitude and contentment. And when we live that way, we naturally become lighter, less resentful, less comparative. Serenity does not mean having nothing to wish for, but knowing how to wish wisely, knowing when to stop, and cherishing the present. For when the heart feels enough, life becomes peaceful. And when the mind feels enough, we no longer need to search for peace anywhere else. There is a paradox in life that only after many trials do we truly understand. The more tightly we hold, the more we lose. The more we try to keep, the heavier the heart becomes. Letting go is not easy, but it is the only path to true freedom. The Buddha taught, as long as the mind clings, suffering remains. When the mind releases, peace appears. There are things in life we know we should let go of, but still cannot. An old relationship, a past pain, a word that wounded the heart. We hold on to them as if by holding we could reclaim fairness. Yet the more we hold, the more we suffer. I once heard a beautiful story about a woman and a cup of hot water. She came to the temple and told the monk about her resentment toward a friend who had betrayed and taken what she had built for years. The monk listened quietly, then poured her a cup of boiling water. He said, "Hold this cup tightly. Do not let go." A few seconds later, the heat spread and she began to tremble. But the monk insisted, "Don't let go." Until the burning became unbearable, she released it. The cup fell, water splashed everywhere. The monk smiled gently. "See? When you hold on to something that hurts you, you are the one who gets burned. No one forced you to hold it, but you did. Letting go is not losing. It is saving yourself." That story may sound simple, but it holds a great lesson. How many times in life have we burned our own hearts just because we refused to let go? Letting go does not mean forgetting, nor abandoning life. It means ceasing to resist what cannot be changed. Some things slip further away the more we grasp. Some people hurt us more the tighter we hold. Letting go is a journey of growth, a process of clearing the heart so peace can return. Someone who has suffered much may think that letting go is weakness, a sign of giving up. But the Buddha taught that letting go is wisdom, for only one who deeply understands cause and condition can gently release. Those who do not understand think holding on is love, persistence is strength. Yet, in truth, only when we let go can we truly love ourselves, love others, and even love what has passed. I remember once a woman shared that she had lived for years in anger. Her closest friend's betrayal left her so full of hatred that every morning she awoke with that image in her mind, like an unhealed scar. She said, "I thought if I held on to that hate, I would be stronger, but now I only feel tired." I told her the story of the hot water and said, "In truth, the one burned first is you." Her tears fell, tears of release. She said she had never felt her heart so light. From that day, she practiced meditation, breathing, and gratitude for small things. Letting go did not erase her pain, but allowed her to see it with compassion. She came to understand that those who make us suffer are suffering too. They act wrongly because they have not yet learned to love. When we understand that, resentment fades. The Buddha taught in the Dhammapada, hatred is never ended by hatred. Only by love is hatred ended. Forgiveness, therefore, is not for others. It is liberation for ourselves. When we hold hatred, that fire burns our own hearts first. When we water it with compassion, the fire goes out. Seen more deeply, letting go is not losing but opening. When we let go of anger, we gain peace. When we let go of resentment, we gain freedom. When we let go of attachment, we gain love. Whenever anger arises, we only need to take a deep breath, place a hand on the chest and whisper, "I am burning. I will not let this fire consume me." Then inhale deeply, exhale slowly, soothing the heart like cooling a flame. Like dropping a stone into a lake, if we do not stir it further, the water will naturally become still. In today's world, people are taught how to win, how to achieve, how to go farther. But few are taught how to let go, how to lose without suffering. In truth, sometimes losing is winning. winning over the ego, winning over anger. Letting go is not weakness, it is courage. The courage to return to oneself, to say enough, to choose peace over victory. Look back and see how many troubles in life began because we refused to let go. A word from the past, a story long over, a person who is gone. We keep holding on. But if today we dare to release, the heart will be light as clouds, the mind clear as a mirror. And just like tidying a house, only when we clear away the old do we make space for new light. Letting go is cleaning the house of the heart. At night, before sleep, you can try something very simple. Sit quietly, close your eyes, inhale slowly, exhale gently, and whisper, "Today I allow myself to let go." Let go of anger, let go of fatigue, let go of what is incomplete. Then smile, letting your final breath of the day become a prayer for a peaceful sleep. Tomorrow, when you awaken, the dawn will shine a little brighter, not because the sun has changed, but because your heart carries less weight. Letting go is returning home. And when we return to a calm mind, we realize that peace has never left us. We were simply too busy holding on to too many things to notice it. When we begin to learn how to let go, we create space to plant another seed, the seed of gratitude. If letting go is the art of wisdom, then gratitude is the art of the heart. These two go together like the wings of a bird. Only when both are open can we soar in the sky of serenity. Many people think gratitude is just words spoken out loud, but in truth, gratitude is a way of life. When we truly live with gratitude, life becomes softer and people become kinder. Because in that moment, we clearly see that everything we have is a gift. Nothing is taken for granted. Someone once asked me, "Teacher, why do I still face so many sorrows, even though I live kindly and do good deeds?" I smiled, because you're looking at what's lost and forgetting what remains. You count your sufferings but forget to count your blessings. Indeed, gratitude does not mean denying suffering, but seeing the light within it. When we are grateful, even in adversity, we still see what is precious. When we give thanks, we stop complaining and transform pain into a lesson. I once met an elderly woman, over 70. She said, "Every day I thank life. I thank it because I can still open my eyes this morning. I thank it because my children call me. I thank it because I can still hear the rain." I asked, "How long have you kept that habit?" She smiled. "A long time, since I lost my husband." I was silent. It turned out that her greatest loss had given her the deepest lesson, that happiness lies not in what we have, but in how we cherish what remains. When we are truly grateful, we no longer live in lack. A simple bowl of rice becomes precious. A single breath becomes sacred. We realize that as long as we can breathe, hear, see, and love someone, that is enough. The Buddha taught, "One who is grateful is close to enlightenment." Why? Because gratitude dissolves the ego. It helps us see our smallness within the web of conditions, to realize that everything that comes to us is the result of countless causes. Then we stop blaming, stop demanding, stop resenting. Look at a simple meal: the rice from the fields, water from the clouds, light from the sun, the farmer's labor, the cook's hands, the fortune to sit and eat in peace. Seeing each of these conditions, we can already smile at the bowl before us. When we live with gratitude, we desire less, demand less, resent less, and naturally, the heart becomes lighter. Gratitude turns every small thing into a miracle. Drinking a sip of water becomes joy. Hearing the wind outside the porch is enough to bring calm. A friend of mine once suffered a severe illness. During treatment, he said, "Before, I lived as if I were immortal. I never noticed my breath, never cared for sleep. Only when I was in pain did I realize each breath is a gift." After he recovered, he no longer lived in a rush. He began thanking each morning he could open his eyes, each meal shared with his family, each cool breeze in the afternoon. He said, "Now I feel richer than ever, even with less money." That is the power of gratitude. It doesn't change circumstances, but it changes how we see life. And when our view changes, suffering softens. A grateful person is not easily angry, for they understand everyone has their own struggles. They are not easily saddened, for they see that life always has a bright side. They are not easily lonely, for they feel supported by countless things around them: the sky, the earth, the grass, the sunlight, and all those who have crossed their path. Each morning, upon waking, we can ask ourselves, what am I grateful for today? That small question is like a ray of sunshine starting the day. It could be gratitude for health, for loved ones, for the chance to begin again, or simply gratitude for still being alive to learn how to love. At night, before sleep, instead of worrying, try recalling 3 things from the day to be grateful for, even the smallest ones. A child's smile, a kind word, an evening without rain. Then take a deep breath, smile, and let your heart drift into sleep in peace. When gratitude becomes a habit, we begin to change. Less tension, less anxiety, less complaining. Those around us can also feel this energy, because gratitude is like a gentle fragrance. Anyone near it feels at ease. A grateful person doesn't need to make life beautiful. They themselves are its beauty. If letting go frees us from old suffering, gratitude plants the seeds of new happiness. A grateful heart is the most fertile soil for peace to grow. When we are grateful for what we have, we are no longer haunted by what has not yet come. When we are grateful for others, our hearts become softer, more forgiving. And when we are grateful for ourselves, for our efforts, our wounds, our times of standing back up, we find compassion instead of blame. Gratitude is the bridge between suffering and happiness, between disappointment and peace. Whenever the heart wavers, just return to a breath and a word of thanks. The waves within will quiet. Try living a single day in gratitude, and you will see the whole world change its color. The same scene looks different when the heart changes. Like the lake's surface, when still, it reflects the entire sky. When we live with gratitude, the world, no matter how turbulent, becomes gentle. And it is then we understand. Peace is not a reward waiting at the end of the road. It is a companion walking with us every step of the way. In life, perhaps what shakes the heart most is not outer storms, but others' words. A compliment can make us joyful for a day, but one criticism can trouble us for a week. It seems we live much of our lives under others' gaze and judgment, forgetting the true voice within. The Buddha taught, "The wise are unmoved by the 8 worldly winds, gain and loss, praise and blame, pleasure and pain, honor and disgrace." These 8 winds blow through everyone's life, but those who live mindfully are not swept away. Today, as social media becomes part of daily life, those 8 winds blow stronger than ever. A post, a comment, a disapproving glance, all can disturb the mind. Yet, if we live constantly trying to please others, we will never know peace. Someone once asked the Buddha, "Do you feel hurt when people criticize you?" He smiled and said, "If someone offers you a gift and you do not accept it, to whom does the gift belong?" The man replied, "To the one who offered it." The Buddha said, "So it is. When someone insults you and you do not accept it, their words remain with them." A simple teaching, yet filled with deep wisdom. No one can make us suffer unless we grant them that power. Being calm amid praise and blame does not mean indifference. It means understanding the impermanent nature of words. Praise and blame are only sounds. They arise, echo, and fade away. What causes us pain is not the sound itself, but our mind clinging to it. If someone speaks well of us, smile with gratitude, but don't be too quick to believe we are great. If someone speaks ill, smile and know it is just a passing breeze. When we are at peace, the wind cannot make us sway. I remember a story. One day, Grandma Ba brewed tea for her neighbors. As she poured a full cup, she asked, "Do you like this tea?" The neighbor sipped and said, "It's all right, a bit weak." Grandma Ba smiled, "Thank you." A while later, another person came by. She offered a cup, and he said, "This tea is delicious." She again smiled, "Thank you." Her son, observing, asked, "Mom, one said it's weak, another said it's good, yet you just said thank you both times. Why aren't you sad or happy depending on what they say?" She smiled gently. "Because I know the taste of the tea hasn't changed. Only the taste in each person's heart is different." That sentence, light yet profound, holds the essence of life. Praise and blame do not define us. They only reflect the minds of those who speak. If we chase praise, we will fear criticism. If we fear loss, we will suffer from gain. Only when we stand still between the two shores of duality does the mind become truly free. The one who understands the Dharma is not someone who avoids praise and blame, but one who can smile amidst both, like a great rock in a flowing river. The water rushes by, but the rock remains unmoved. In life, there will be times we are misunderstood, judged, or criticized without wrongdoing. In those moments, don't rush to defend yourself. Step back, breathe deeply. Time will reveal the truth. We only need to keep the mind at peace. Remember, not everyone shares the same level of awareness. Those who understand you need no explanation. Those who don't, no explanation will suffice. Choose silence and trust in karma. Every action done with a pure heart will blossom in its time. In a noisy world, the one who keeps inner peace is the strongest. When others grow angry, we keep breathing. When others shout, we keep smiling. That is not weakness, but the power of a tranquil mind. Someone once asked me, "How can I avoid being hurt by words?" I replied, "Listen with your ears, but not with your heart. Listen to understand, but do not let others' words sink into your being." When we listen with compassion, we see that every harsh word is but the cry of a soul still in pain. If someone speaks bitterly, they are suffering. If someone criticizes, they are restless. When we understand this, anger fades and compassion arises. Compassion is the armor that shields us from all wounds. The Buddha taught, "As the lotus grows in mud, yet is unstained by it." The one who keeps calm amid praise and blame is like that lotus. The world may be noisy, yet we still bloom in silence. A small practice. Whenever someone says something unpleasant, pause for a few seconds. Breathe in deeply, breathe out slowly, and ask yourself, "Is this true? Do I need to hold this in my heart?" 9 times out of 10, the answer will be no. Then smile and let it go, like dropping a leaf into the stream. Living in this world, we cannot make everyone love us, but we can love ourselves by not letting our hearts be disturbed by what is beyond our control. The wise do not argue. Those who understand the Dharma do not compete, for they know that arguing only brings fatigue, while silence brings peace. Keeping calm amid praise and blame is like preserving the flavor of the tea in your cup. That taste belongs to you. No one can make it bitter unless you let them stir it. Once we understand this, we become truly free, no longer swayed by praise or blame, gain or loss. We can live each moment fully, light as a drifting cloud, still as a quiet lake, serene as a lotus in the world. Life is an unending flow of gain and loss, union and separation, joy and sorrow. Each of us has rejoiced at what we've gained and wept over what we've lost. But if we look deeply, we'll see that gain and loss are but two sides of the same coin of conditions. Understanding this, the heart naturally settles. Some say, "I gave my best. Why didn't things go as I wished?" Others lament, "I never harmed anyone. Why do I still face hardship?" The Buddha taught, nothing comes to us by chance. Every seed we have sown in the past will bear fruit in the present or future, only depending on whether conditions have ripened. When we understand karma deeply, we stop blaming, we stop comparing. We simply observe. What comes, we receive. What goes, we release. We understand that every event has its reason, every loss its lesson. In youth, we often think gain is happiness and loss is pain. But as we live longer, we see that sometimes loss itself is a form of gain. Losing someone not meant for us allows us to meet one who truly is. Losing an old job opens the way to discover what truly fits. Losing difficult times teaches us endurance and patience. Those who understand the Dharma do not fear loss, for they know that every loss is a step of transformation. But those who do not understand cling to gain, and thus when life shifts, they suffer deeply. Once a woman came to the temple and lamented, "Master, I've lost everything. My money, my home, my loved one. Life feels meaningless." The monk smiled and pointed to the garden. "Do you see that apricot tree? Last year it stood bare and everyone thought it was dead, but this year its flowers bloom brightly again." He continued, "Every season the tree must shed its leaves to prepare for new blossoms. You too are the same. Loss is not the end. It is the time when conditions are transforming to help you grow." The woman burst into tears, tears of understanding. Likewise, each of us has our own leaf-falling seasons when everything seems to collapse. But if we keep faith in cause and effect, we will see that all coming and going follows the natural law of the universe. When we understand karma, we stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What can I learn from this?" That very question transforms suffering into wisdom. The Buddha taught, "Within the cause is the effect. Within the effect is the cause. Sow good seeds and fear not the result." Many people wish for peace, yet they plant seeds of anger, jealousy, and greed. How can peace grow when the soil of the heart has not been watered with compassion? To live peacefully amid gain and loss, we must return to tend the garden of the mind. Each day, plant one good seed, a kind word, a gentle smile, a helpful act. It need not be grand, only consistent. For these small seeds together create the season of peace to come. Like a gardener who neither forces flowers to bloom, nor blames the rain or wind, they simply water the plants each day, knowing flowers bloom when there is enough sun, wind, and time. So too, when we act rightly and keep a clear heart, good seeds will bear good fruit. When we understand karma, resentment fades. We no longer blame those who hurt us, knowing they are but conditions bringing forth our past causes. Nor do we become arrogant in success, for we know it is the fruit of past virtue. And if we sow wrongly today, tomorrow's fruit will change. Those who live by the law of karma are not extreme. They neither blame heaven nor resent others. They can smile through gain and loss, for they know all things pass. Only karma and mind remain. A precious lesson in life is not to chase results, but to care for each action. When we do good, don't rush to seek praise. When suffering arises, don't lament, "Why me?" For perhaps that very loss is when merit is being formed. Some people lose everything, and from that learn compassion, patience, and the joy of simplicity. Isn't that a priceless gift? One day, looking back, we realize that every gain and loss was a teacher. Those who hurt us taught patience. Hardship taught resilience. Failure taught humility. Loss taught letting go. When we see all things through the lens of cause and condition, there is nothing left to resent, nothing left to cling to. Each event simply flows, coming to go and going to come. Instead of asking, "Why did I lose?" ask, "What am I learning from this loss?" When the mind changes, suffering becomes a kind teacher. Keeping calm amid gain and loss is the peak of mindfulness. It doesn't arise from rigid effort, but from the wisdom of impermanence. When we see that all things arise and fade, fear disappears. When we gain, we give thanks. When we lose, we smile. For we know that whether in gain or loss, we still have this moment to learn, to love, to understand. And that, indeed, is the greatest blessing in life. Among the Buddha's countless teachings, one truth leads to liberation: non-self. All suffering, jealousy, anger, and hatred arise from one root: attachment to self, the I. From this I arises mine, my house, my child, my honor, my success, even my pain. The tighter we hold, the more we suffer, for life never bends to the will of this small I. The Buddha taught, there is no I, no mine, no self within. Easy to hear, hard to realize. One must walk through much pain to truly see it. For if we look deeply, every suffering bears the shadow of self. When someone offends us, we are angry because the I feels hurt. When someone surpasses us, we feel sad because the I feels inferior. When someone leaves, we grieve because the I fears loss. This I is like a house built on sand. A single breeze can make it tremble. The one who understands the Dharma does not try to destroy the self, but sees its impermanence. When we realize this body is made of earth, water, fire, and air, and this mind arises from conditions, then I is nothing fixed at all. Once a Zen master sat in meditation, and someone came to insult him. The disciple grew angry and said, "Master, why are you silent? They just insulted you." The master smiled and asked, "If someone offers you a gift and you don't take it, to whom does it belong?" The disciple answered, "To the giver." The master said, "So too, if no one receives the insult, it will fade away." That is the strength of one free from ego, not indifference, but deep clarity. When there is no I to be offended, the offense has nowhere to land. The ego makes us believe we are separate from life, afraid of loss, defeat, or being forgotten. Yet in truth, we are never apart. We are but parts of a vast web of interdependence. Like a drop of water in the ocean, it does not disappear when merging with the sea. It becomes the sea. When we release the I, we do not vanish, we merge with all life. Then there are no boundaries between self and others, love and hate, gain and loss. Many fear non-self, thinking it means emptiness. But the Buddha taught that non-self is freedom. When we are no longer ruled by ego, we are truly free. Another time, a young novice was sweeping the temple courtyard. The wind blew dust back over the ground, and he grumbled, "No matter how much I sweep, my yard is still dirty." The abbot overheard and asked, "If it's your yard, why didn't the wind ask your permission before blowing?" The novice stood in silence. From that day on, whenever he swept, he no longer thought, "my yard," but simply, "the yard is being swept." His heart felt lighter, his movements gentler. Just by letting go of the word my, peace arose. That is the miracle of non-self. Letting go of ownership, keeping presence. In daily life, we can practice this simply. When washing dishes, don't think, "I'm washing dishes," but the dishes are being washed. When caring for a child, don't think, "I'm so tired taking care of my child," but this child is being loved. When cooking, don't think, "I must finish this meal," but this meal is being prepared to nourish body and mind. When the I steps back, life reveals itself fully. We are no longer the doer, we are awareness in motion. The I makes us compete for gain and loss, while non-self makes us want to understand and love. The I makes us feel lonely, while non-self lets us feel connected to all beings. The I makes us fear death, while non-self helps us understand that no one truly disappears, only transforms. The Buddha once taught, "This body is like foam, this mind like space." If we cling to body and mind as truly existing, sooner or later we suffer, for the body will age and the mind will change. But if we see everything as a river that keeps flowing, we will realize there is nothing to hold on to, only life continuing. One who understands non-self no longer competes or tries to prove themselves. They do everything with a pure heart, not seeking praise and not fearing blame. They know all things are only temporary combinations of conditions. A blossoming flower does not take pride in being more beautiful than others. It simply blooms according to the conditions of sun, wind, and earth. When conditions are ripe, the flower withers, its fragrance fades, its petals fall, yet seeds give rise to a new season of blossoms. So too, when we understand non-self, we live lightly like the flower, blooming wholeheartedly, smiling even as we fade, neither blaming heaven nor faulting others, only grateful for each moment of being human in this life. That is the greatest freedom. Freedom from the I that always wants to keep, always fears loss, always craves to be more. When the I is gone, peace naturally appears. One who realizes non-self is not someone who has lost everything, but someone who has everything in serenity. They love without binding, live without clinging, give without needing return. Then they no longer ask, "Who am I?" but simply smile. I am the breath, the wind, the river, the all. And in that moment, suffering dissolves, leaving only a gentle stillness spreading everywhere. The stillness of a mind no longer attached to self. In today's life, people speak much, yet understand little. We speak to protect ourselves, to prove we are right, to persuade others to our way. But the more we talk, the more agitated the mind becomes. The Buddha taught, "When the mouth is still, the mind is calm. When the mind is calm, wisdom arises." Perhaps that is why, in Buddhism, silence is not weakness, but the strength of the wise. Those who know how to be silent are not silent because they have nothing to say, but because they see that many things need no words at all. In anger, we want to react at once, to argue, to win. Yet words spoken from an agitated mind are like arrows. Once loosed, they cannot be taken back. Sometimes a single unrestrained sentence costs us a relationship, wounding others and ourselves. The wise, when facing slander, do not rush to react. They are quiet, observant, take a deep breath, and speak only if necessary. If not, they simply smile, knowing truth does not need a raised voice. Silence is how we pause to look deeply within. When we stop speaking, the mind begins to listen. To the breath, to the heart, to the gentle stream of the present moment. In that quiet space, we see more than words can express. Sometimes a glance, a breath, a smile can carry understanding and love without a single word. A Zen master once said, "Silence is the deepest teaching." When the mind is tranquil, every act, even picking up a leaf or setting down a teacup, can become a lesson for others. For the serene do not need to preach, they teach by how they live. I once met a woman over 60 who lived alone in a small country house. She said little, yet everyone felt ease and warmth around her. Each morning she watered the plants, fed the cat, brewed a pot of tea, and gazed into the garden. A neighbor asked, "Aren't you lonely, living alone without complaint?" She simply smiled. "I have a whole garden to talk with, the wind to listen to, and the breath to know I am alive. What is there to be sad about?" That very silence radiated peaceful energy without any words. Those who know how to be silent are not avoiding life, they understand it. They do not need to prove right or wrong or to claim victory, because they know that winning and losing only tire the heart, while silence brings it rest. In that silence, they hear the voice of wisdom and compassion. Sometimes we think silence is losing. In truth, silence is victory over ourselves, over anger, impulsiveness, and the urge to surpass others. Those who cannot master their speech are swept into the karma of words. Each word is a seed. If harsh and heavy, it bears bitter fruit. If gentle and compassionate, it blossoms into peace. And sometimes the best is to sow nothing at all, for silence keeps the soil of the heart pure. The Buddha taught, "One who speaks truthfully at the right time, in the right place, with right meaning and compassion, that one speaks the Dharma." Yet he also taught that when words are unnecessary, silence is also a way of teaching the Dharma. Such silence is not avoidance, but the insight that all words are impermanent. What is the point of arguing when everyone believes themselves right? Instead of proving, choose to listen. In true listening, we realize everyone is suffering. The angry are hurting. Those who speak bitterly are lacking love. Seeing this, we no longer want to argue. We want to love. Once, a man came and harshly insulted the Buddha. He simply looked at him with kind eyes in silence. When the man tired and stopped, the Buddha asked, "If someone offers you a gift and you do not accept it, to whom does it belong?" He answered, "To the giver." The Buddha smiled, "So too with your words, I do not accept them, so they remain yours." The man fell silent. That story shows that the power of silence lies not in suppression, but in understanding. When we see that others' words cannot harm us unless we allow them, we are free. When we see that truth needs no quarrel, we are at peace. When we see that anger wounds both sides, we know to smile. Silence is also how we return to listen to ourselves. Each day, spend a few minutes sitting quietly, eyes closed, feeling the breath move in and out. You will sense a space of stillness opening within, where troubles fade like smoke in the wind. Peace needs no distant search. It is present when we sit without inner turmoil. Those long in practice know some questions need no answers. Some wounds need no defense. Some misunderstandings need only time and silence to dissolve. For silence is not emptiness, but the space where wisdom blooms. When the mouth is quiet, the mind grows bright. When the mind is bright, words become gentle. And when words are gentle, the world around us softens. Thus, if one day you feel the urge to speak much, to react, to prove, pause, take a deep breath, smile, and choose silence like someone listening to the wind. For sometimes in that silence, the Buddha is telling us the most important thing, that peace has never left. We have only talked so much, we could no longer hear it. People often suffer not because of what is happening, but because we resist what is happening. When it rains, we want sun. When it's sunny, we complain of heat. With someone, we want solitude. In solitude, we want someone. We chase life and forget that peace is not in changing everything, but in accepting and letting go of what is. The Buddha taught, "Nothing is worth clinging to because all is impermanent." Understanding this, we learn to let go of what weighs the heart down, of what cannot be changed, and even of the urge to control everything around us. Letting go does not mean giving up or being indifferent. It means accepting the natural flow of causes and conditions. Only when we stop struggling against the current can we feel the gentle support of the water. Many ask, "How can I let go?" But in truth, letting go is not an action. It is an understanding. When we truly see that all things arise, change, and fade, our hands naturally open. No one forces us to let go. Only when we realize that holding on brings suffering do we release on our own. A mother once grieved for years after losing her son in an accident. She shut herself away, crying at his altar every day. One day, a friend took her to see a monk. After listening silently, the monk asked, "Do you think your son wants to see you suffer like this?" She could not answer, tears choking her. The monk continued, "When you cry, you hold him in your pain, but when you smile, you let him continue his path in peace." Hearing this, she wept, but those were her first tears of true release. From that day, she practiced mindfulness, breathing, and living in the present. She said, "I haven't forgotten my son, but now I keep him in the light, not in my tears." Letting go, at its heart, is the transformation of the energy of holding into the energy of love. When we release through understanding, resentment fades. When we release through compassion, suffering ends. Letting go does not mean losing. It means returning everything to its rightful place. A flower blooms and withers. No one blames the wind. No one curses the sky. Yet when life changes, humans struggle to cling to what has passed. The Buddha compared the human mind to a hand gripping sand. The tighter we hold, the more it slips away. But when we open the hand, the sand remains, soft and unbroken. Holding on is fear. Letting go is trust. Trust in karma, in interdependence, in the perfect order of the universe, whether or not we understand it. The one who can let go is the one who has learned to trust the natural unfolding of life. Many believe that letting go means losing everything, but in truth, only when we let go do we regain ourselves. When we are no longer ruled by anger, anxiety, or regret, the mind becomes wide and clear, like a lake that calms after the wind. Only then can we see the reflection beneath. Peace does not come from fixing the outer world, but from not letting the outer world pull the inner one. A Zen master once said, "One who knows how to let go no longer needs to control the water, but knows how to flow with it." Life is the same. When we stop resisting, the current lifts us. The more we fight, the more exhausted we become. The more we cling, the more we suffer. But when we smile and accept, everything becomes lighter. Remember, every event has its cause and condition. If someone leaves, it means the bond has reached its end. If something stops, it means its time is complete. If a door closes, it is because another has quietly opened where we have not yet looked. Instead of blaming, be grateful, for sometimes loss is life's way of protecting us from what no longer belongs to us. Letting go is not difficult to practice. Each day, choose one small thing to release. An unnecessary worry, an old resentment, an unrealistic expectation. Each time you let go of one thing, your heart grows lighter. One day, looking back, you'll see how far you've come. Still standing, but free. Letting go is also a form of love. Love for yourself, love for life, love even for imperfection. When we no longer demand that everything go our way, we begin to see that everything is already where it needs to be. Perhaps not perfect, but enough. Perhaps not as we wish, but still precious. And in that enough and preciousness, serenity appears. The one who can let go is not without dreams. They simply understand that each dream is like a passing cloud, coming and going, impossible to grasp. They still live and act fully, but they do not let results bind their hearts. They understand that all they must do is give their best. Success or failure depends on causes and conditions. In that understanding, peace arises naturally. In the end, no one truly holds on to anything. We come empty-handed and we leave the same way. The only thing we carry is a tranquil heart. Thus, letting go is not losing. It is returning home to the stillness already within. When we can let go, nothing can make us suffer, for we have learned how to walk through storms with a heart as calm as autumn water. And when one day we look at life with gentleness, at others with ease, we will understand. Letting go does not make us weak. It is the expression of the deepest wisdom. In this hurried world, those who know how to slow down are already walking the right path. From the first light of dawn, we are caught in cycles of must do, must achieve, must succeed. We walk fast, eat fast, speak fast, think fast. Even in stillness, our minds are running. But the faster we run, the farther we drift from ourselves. Peace is not at the end of the road. It is in every step along the way. When we learn to live slowly, every breath, every smile, every glance becomes a miracle. The Buddha taught, no one can bathe twice in the same river. Everything is changing in every moment. Yet we live as if we will last forever, chasing the future while forgetting the present. Living slowly means stopping to see life unfolding right now. It is when we drink a sip of water and feel true gratitude for being able to drink. It is when we watch the sunset without needing a photo, just watching and feeling. It is when we eat not just to be full, but to give thanks to the earth and sky that nourish this body. Someone once said, if I live slowly, I'll fall behind. But in truth, living slowly is not being late. It is living deeply. Slowness helps us see what truly matters. We waste less time on the meaningless, stop chasing external noise. Those who live slowly savor each moment. Those who rush always feel lacking, no matter how much they have. Once I met an old man in the countryside. He lived alone, each morning brewing tea, opening his door to the sun, sweeping the yard leisurely. I asked, don't you feel lonely, living away from the city and your family? He smiled gently. I'm not far from anyone. The wind is my friend, the sun is my friend, the bird's song is my friend. As long as my heart isn't hurried, everywhere is home. That answer, simple yet profound, holds a truth. When the heart is still, everywhere is peaceful. When the mind is calm, even in a crowded city, it feels like sitting deep in the forest. Living slowly is also a way to return and listen to yourself. Amid the noise of life, the voice of your soul is often drowned out. Each day, take a few minutes to sit still, doing nothing but listening to your breath. In that stillness, scattered thoughts begin to fade, and wisdom begins to speak. Only when we truly stop can we hear the voice of the Buddha within, the voice of awareness and compassion. Those who live slowly are not lazy. They are consciously choosing a rhythm that harmonizes with their hearts. They may do less, but with mindfulness. Walk slower, but each step is firm. Speak less, but every word carries the energy of peace. To live slowly is not to escape life, but to live it more deeply. The Buddha once taught, if you know how to stop and breathe mindfully, you will see that each breath is a miracle of life. Living slowly requires no conditions, no withdrawal from the world. Even amid the city's noise, you can live slowly by breathing a little deeper, walking a little slower, listening to others a little more. Each little more gathers into a peaceful life. Try practicing slowness through small acts. In the morning, before touching your phone, sit quietly for a few minutes and feel your body breathing. When you drink water, don't think of anything else. When speaking with someone, look at them with presence. When walking, don't think of the destination. Just feel your feet touching the earth. Each such moment is meditation in daily life. Living slowly also helps us forgive more easily, because when we slow down, we see others suffering more clearly. We no longer react impulsively, but pause to understand. And understanding is the beginning of love. When we live slowly, the heart softens, compassion expands. We stop chasing praise or fearing blame, because we see all of it is just passing wind. Sometimes living slowly simply means smiling at yourself, not trying too hard, not seeking to please anyone, just moving at the pace of your own heart. The world won't stop for us, but we can stop within ourselves. When we live slowly, we lose nothing. In fact, we regain everything: presence, gratitude, and inner peace. If each of us could live a little slower, listen a little more, love a little deeper, this world would suffer far less, because the peace of one person radiates outward like the fragrance of a lotus, gentle yet enduring. In the end, remember, living slowly does not mean falling behind life, but walking with it in mindfulness, not staying behind, but moving alongside it in serenity. Then every step becomes a meditation, every breath a prayer, and every day a precious gift we cherish fully. In a world full of noise, mindfulness is the most peaceful refuge for the soul. Modern humans often live in two unreal times: the past and the future. The past is gone, the future has not yet come. Only the present moment truly exists. Yet we lose it amid constant thoughts and restless busyness. The Buddha taught, "Do not look for me in the future. Do not look for me in the past. I am here, in your every breath." Understanding this, we see that returning to the present is returning to ourselves. Mindfulness is not something distant or lofty. It is simple awareness in every moment of life. When we eat and know we are eating, walk and know we are walking, breathe and know we are breathing, that is mindfulness. Yet most of us eat in haste, walk in worry, breathe in forgetfulness. We live as if our bodies are here but our minds elsewhere. And so, even while living, we feel empty and restless, searching for something we cannot name. Practicing mindfulness means calling the mind back to the body so that they meet in the same moment. When body and mind unite, peace arises naturally. Notice that when we do something wholeheartedly, cooking a meal, tending plants, talking with a loved one, we feel happy. Not because the act is special, but because in that moment we are fully alive, not divided between past and future. Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh said, "The miracle is not to walk on water or fire, but to walk on the earth in mindfulness." Each step we take, each breath we draw, is a miracle if we are truly present for it. The mindful person does not chase emotions or get swept by circumstances. Wherever they are, whatever they do, clarity remains within, like a lamp steady in the wind. Mindfulness allows us to see things as they are, without distortion from judgment or emotion. When angry, we know we are angry. When sad, we know we are sad. Just knowing is enough. No need to suppress or resist. For in the light of awareness, emotions naturally dissolve. Anger known is anger tamed. Sadness seen is sadness softened. This is the power of mindfulness. It does not fight emotions, it transforms them through understanding. If each day we can live mindfully for even a few minutes, we have already planted a seed of peace. With steady practice, that moment grows longer, the mind steadier, and the world begins to look different. Nothing outside has changed, but our way of seeing has. The scenery softens, people seem kinder, because we are looking through a peaceful heart. Mindfulness needs no elaborate rituals. Whenever you do something, just pause, breathe deeply, and realize, I am here. When washing dishes, feel the warm water on your hands. When drinking tea, don't rush. Let the fragrance merge with your breath. When walking, forget the destination. Feel each step. These simple moments are meditation within life. Mindfulness also reveals the blessings already around us. Only when truly present do we see how life embraces us. Birdsong, morning light, a smile from someone, a warm meal. Without mindfulness, we take these for granted. With mindfulness, we see that they are happiness. In difficult times, mindfulness keeps us grounded. When the mind trembles, simply return to the breath. Inhale, knowing you are inhaling. Exhale knowing you are exhaling. One mindful breath can ease countless worries. You need no comfort from outside. One mindful breath is enough to return to inner stillness. Imagine a clear lake. When stirred, it turns muddy, but if left undisturbed, it settles on its own. The mind is the same. When we sit quietly in mindfulness, it clears. And in that clarity, we see the roots of our joy, our pain, our love, and our anger. To see is to understand. To understand is to let go, and to let go is peace. Living in mindfulness does not mean escaping from life or denying emotions. It means living fully in the world without being swept away by it. A mindful person still works, still loves, still faces challenges, yet does not lose themselves in them. Every action they take is illuminated by awareness, compassion, and the understanding that all things are impermanent. If in a single day we can drink tea mindfully, listen to the rain mindfully, and embrace a loved one mindfully, that day is already complete. For every moment of mindfulness is a moment in which the Buddha nature within us is revealed. When we live mindfully, we no longer search for peace elsewhere, for peace is already present in each breath. We no longer chase happiness in the future, for happiness is the full presence of this moment. And when we are truly present, no matter how turbulent the world becomes, our hearts remain calm. Like the moon reflecting upon the river, the water flows, yet the moon stays whole. Life itself is like a river, sometimes calm, sometimes wild. No one can stop the wind or the rain, just as no one can escape change and fluctuation. But the wonder is we can learn to keep our hearts steady amid all movement. The Buddha taught an unshaken mind amid the ever-changing world. This is not something distant, but a profound life skill that anyone can cultivate through mindfulness and wisdom. Many think that peace requires retreating from the world to the mountains or a monastery. But the Buddha did not teach us to run from life. He taught us to live within it without being carried away. In the marketplace, one can still be at peace. Amid noise, one can still be still. For the root of peace is not in place, but in the mind. If the mind is restless, even in seclusion it will be troubled. If the mind is calm, even in a busy city, it is as though meditating beneath the Bodhi tree. Keeping the mind at peace does not mean feeling nothing, but knowing how to observe feelings without being ruled by them. When sadness arises, we know we are sad. When anger comes, we know we are angry. Like someone standing on the riverbank watching the current flow, not jumping in to be swept away. Emotions come, we greet them. They go, we let them go. They are just waves upon the surface, large or small, while the deep water beneath remains still. In modern life, keeping the mind steady is harder than ever. Information, worries, work, and pressure bombard us daily. We are easily pulled, easily agitated, quick to react. But if we know how to pause, breathe, and observe, we will see that nothing is truly worth losing our peace over. What seems big today may be small tomorrow. Those who anger us are often just suffering souls who do not know how to express it. When we understand, we soften naturally. A Zen master once said, "Peace of mind is not the absence of waves, but learning how to surf them. Like a sailor who does not pray for calm seas, but learns to row steadily through storms. Peace is knowing that all things are temporary, needing neither to cling nor to avoid, but simply to be present and accept." I once met a middle-aged man who had lost everything: his business, family, and health. Yet when I saw him years later, he radiated serenity. I asked, "What helped you rise again?" He smiled. "Before I tried to control everything. Now I only keep one thing, my mind. Everything else will be as it must." A simple answer, yet filled with awakening. When we learn to hold our mind, all gains and losses become passing ripples. The Buddha taught, "Nothing is truly ours, therefore nothing can truly be lost." Understanding this, the heart naturally finds rest. People suffer because they cling to what cannot be kept, grieve for what cannot return. But when we see impermanence clearly, we stop resisting. We cherish what comes and smile when it goes. Calmness does not mean shutting off emotions, but feeling without letting feelings control our actions. In life's flow, mindfulness is the anchor that keeps us from drifting. When faced with something unpleasant, pause and take a deep breath. Inhale, knowing you are inhaling. Exhale, knowing you are exhaling. One mindful breath can save you from a storm within. When others are angry, we need not be angry too. When life is hard, we need not panic. When we hear praise or blame, we need not sway. Just return to the breath, and you'll see that no storm outside can truly harm you. A peaceful person is one who moves slowly in thought but gracefully in action. They do not rush to react or judge. They observe, listen, then speak or act. They understand that reaction comes from instinct, but response comes from wisdom. Reaction breeds suffering, response creates peace. Once a disciple asked the Buddha, "How can I keep my mind from being disturbed when others hurt me?" The Buddha replied, "If you carry a bowl full of water and walk in the wind, you will spill it. But if you walk slowly, the water stays still. Your mind is the same. Just slow your walk, slow your breath, slow your thoughts, and no one can make you suffer." True peace is not the absence of storms, but freedom from fear of storms. When the mind is firm like the earth, no wind can shake it. When the mind is like the moon, no cloud can truly hide it. Keeping a calm mind amid life's tides is an art. The art of one who knows that there is nothing outside to conquer, only things to understand. Practice steadiness through small daily acts. When someone says something unpleasant, don't react right away. When facing difficulty, pause before deciding. When tired, take a few deep breaths instead of complaining. Each such moment builds another layer of strength within. And one day, looking back, you'll see you've passed through countless storms without being swept away. You'll understand that peace is not a gift of fate, but the fruit of daily practice. When the mind is steady amid life, we no longer ask, "When will I be at peace?" Because we realize peace doesn't come after the waves subside. It exists within the waves themselves, if we can see with wisdom and love with compassion. In a world full of voices, a true listener is rare. We are used to speaking, reacting, asserting our views, but seldom do we truly listen. The Buddha taught, listening is a form of compassion. Only when we listen deeply can we understand, and only when we understand can we truly love. Listening is not merely an act of the ear, but a state of the heart. When the heart is still, when we release judgment and bias, we begin to hear what others truly mean. Often what people say is not what they wish to express. Behind harsh words lies fear. Behind anger lies a cry for help. Behind silence lies loneliness. If we listen only with our ears, we hear words. But if we listen with our hearts, we hear pain, longing, and unspoken love. Someone once said, most people do not listen to understand. They listen to reply. Indeed, while others speak, we are already preparing what to say next, how to argue, how to prove ourselves right. And so conversation becomes a battle of egos. But those with wisdom listen differently. They listen with full presence. They do not interrupt, judge, or compare. They simply are there, silently reflecting like a still mirror. The Buddha once taught his disciples, when someone speaks, listen as the earth receives the rain. The earth does not choose between clean or muddy rain, does not reject or cling. It simply receives. To listen like the earth is to listen with an open heart, without distinction or resistance. When we listen in this way, the words of others become lighter, and their pain gradually dissolves. One day, a man came to the Buddha and poured out his sorrow. His voice trembled, tears flowed. The Buddha sat quietly, gazing at him with eyes full of compassion. No sermon, no judgment, no advice. When the man finally stopped crying, he bowed and said, "Lord, I feel so much lighter now." The Buddha smiled. When you speak with awareness, you are healing yourself. When we listen mindfully, we plant the seed of compassion. Those who know how to listen can transform the atmosphere around them. An angry person, when heard by a calm heart, will slowly soften. A sorrowful person, when listened to with love, will feel relief. Sometimes we need not say a word. Just sitting there in full presence allows the other person to feel held and understood. In daily life, listening is not only for others, it is also for ourselves. Whenever the mind is restless, instead of escaping into noise, sit quietly and listen within. Ask yourself, what am I feeling now? What am I afraid of? What do I truly need? When we are honest with ourselves, the heart naturally calms. The mind is like a child. Once it is listened to, it becomes gentle again. One evening, I asked an elderly practitioner, "What is wisdom in communication?" The old man smiled. "It is knowing when to speak and when to listen. Sometimes, listening is the answer." Indeed, in many situations, words cannot solve anything. Only sincere listening can open the closed door of someone's heart. To practice deep listening, start small. When someone speaks, don't cut them off. Look at them, breathe evenly, and keep your mind calm. Let them feel they are respected, that their words matter. Even if you disagree, don't react right away. Listen fully, then speak with compassion. When you do speak, speak slowly, clearly, and only what truly needs to be said. Each word is a seed, so plant good ones. Those who listen with their hearts never run out of kindness because they understand that everyone carries their own suffering. The person before us may be mistaken, angry, or speaking harshly, but deep down they are longing to be understood and loved. When we listen without judgment, we help them return to their gentleness within. The Buddha taught, if we do not listen, we cannot understand. If we do not understand, we cannot love. Listening is the first door that opens to wisdom and compassion. And when understanding arises, resentment fades and distance dissolves. In a noisy world, those who truly listen are already practicing deeply. They need not meditate long hours or chant many sutras. It is enough to listen each day with the whole heart, listening to others, to life, and to themselves. In those moments, their Buddha nature shines quietly yet steadily, like a lantern glowing through the night. If wisdom is the lamp that lights the path, compassion is the warmth that softens the heart. The Buddha taught, wisdom without compassion is cold. Compassion without wisdom is blind. These two are like the wings of a bird. Without one, it cannot fly to liberation. In a world full of suffering, only loving understanding can melt the wounds within people's hearts. Compassion is not only loving others, but also understanding the pain within ourselves and all beings. Many think compassion is weakness or vulnerability, but in truth, compassion is the strength of one who understands deeply. The compassionate are not weak. They are courageous enough to face their own pain without denial, to witness the suffering of others without turning away. They know that anger, envy, and hatred can never heal. Only love can. The Buddha taught, hatred never ceases by hatred, but only by love. This is the eternal law. When we harbor anger, our hearts burn like fire. But when we awaken compassion, that fire cools, and we begin to see that those who hurt us are themselves in pain. Those who cause suffering are suffering. When we realize this, we no longer seek revenge. We wish to help them suffer less. That is the greatest strength of a true practitioner, the strength of compassion. Compassion is not just in words, but in the way we live. A gentle look, a soft smile, a small act of help. Each carries healing energy. There are wounds no medicine or advice can heal. Only presence, understanding, and empathy can soothe them. When we live with a compassionate heart, those around us feel it too. Once a disciple asked the Buddha, "Lord, what should I do when someone insults me?" The Buddha replied, "If a person is struck by a poisoned arrow, what should they do first? Seek revenge on the shooter, or pull the arrow out?" The disciple answered, "Of course, remove the arrow." The Buddha smiled. So too, when you are hurt, use love to remove the arrow of anger from your heart. If you only seek revenge, you will be struck by many more arrows. Compassion is medicine for both giver and receiver. When we love others, our hearts expand. When we forgive, we become light. Forgiveness is not approving of wrongs. It is choosing not to let hatred make us suffer more. Each time we send out love, even through a single kind thought, the universe receives and reflects it back. Those with compassion do not demand others to change. They quietly plant seeds of goodness through their way of being. When we live kindly, others naturally reflect. A gentle word can calm anger. An act of forgiveness can dissolve conflict. The world becomes better not through power or wealth, but through people who live with compassionate hearts. Compassion also begins with learning to love yourself. You cannot truly love others if you do not know how to love yourself properly. Loving yourself is not self-indulgence. It is caring for your body and mind, not blaming yourself, not resenting yourself for past mistakes. Everyone has moments of weakness. Everyone makes errors. Look at yourself with understanding and tell yourself, "I am learning to live better." When you forgive yourself, only then can you genuinely forgive others. Within every person lies a seed of compassion. All it needs is nourishment through mindfulness and daily practice, and it will grow. When you breathe in peace, smile with understanding, and work with an open heart, that is when the seed of compassion sprouts. A compassionate person need not preach. Their very presence brings calm to others. Remember, compassion is not an emotion. It is a way of wisdom. It allows us to see life with greater tolerance, to understand that each person is walking their own path of karma and causes. When we see with compassion, we stop judging. We simply recognize that everyone is learning their way back to their innate goodness. If one day the world feels too cold, don't wait for someone else to bring fire. Light a flame in your own heart. Even a small flame of kindness can illuminate a long night of ignorance. And if each of us lights that flame, how much less suffering there will be in this world. So begin with something simple. Speak gently, think kindly, do good, forgive mistakes, and smile at others as if it were the last time you might meet them. Every small act like this is a blossom of compassion blooming in the world. And when your heart is filled with compassion, you will see that the world has never lacked light. We only need to be still enough to see it, loving enough to live it, and wise enough to let go. Forgiveness is one of the hardest journeys a person can take. Everyone has been hurt, betrayed, slandered, misunderstood, judged unfairly. If such pain is not released, it remains in the heart like a heavy stone, dragging us down into suffering. The Buddha taught, hatred cannot be ended by hatred. Only love and forgiveness can end hatred. Forgiveness is not forgetting or condoning wrongs. It is freeing the heart from the weight of the past. Someone once asked, "How can I forgive when the other person never apologized?" The Buddha smiled. "Forgive not for them, but for yourself." For anger and resentment are like drinking poison and expecting another to die. Each time we hold on to hatred, we wound ourselves. Forgiveness is the gentle wind that clears the dark clouds, bringing ease after the storms of the heart. There was once a woman who suffered for years after her husband's betrayal. Though divorced, her heart was still full of bitterness. She said that every memory felt like a knot tightening in her chest. One day she went to a temple and asked an old monk, "How can I forget?" The monk said, "You don't need to forget, just let go." He handed her a stone and told her to carry it around the temple. Halfway through, her hand ached and she wanted to drop it, but the monk said, "Keep holding it, that is your hatred." When she returned, trembling and in pain, the monk said softly, "You see, holding on to hatred is like holding this stone. The first to suffer is you. Let it go and you'll feel light." She wept, but for the first time in years, her tears tasted of release. Forgiveness is difficult because the ego always seeks justice, wants repayment. Yet life is imperfect, and so are we. Everyone has hurt someone, sometimes unknowingly, sometimes out of pain. When we understand that mistakes arise from ignorance, the heart softens. Forgiving is not condoning, but seeing deeply enough that resentment dissolves. The Buddha taught, "Those who harm you create bad karma. If you respond with hatred, you create more." Forgiveness stops the wheel of karma. It prevents suffering from being passed on. When we forgive, we heal both ourselves and the other. For when resentment fades, love can bloom again. Some think forgiveness is weakness, but no. Forgiveness is the greatest strength of all. It takes immense courage to let go of a hatred carried too long. The angry can shout. The strong can simply smile and say, "I no longer blame you." That sentence frees not only the other, but oneself. Forgiveness must also be extended inward. Sometimes it is easier to forgive others than to forgive ourselves. We torment ourselves with regret and if only, but no one is perfect. Every wound, every failure, every misstep is a lesson that shapes us. Without falling, we would never learn to stand. To forgive oneself is not to deny mistakes, but to accept them, learn from them, and let them go. Imagine your heart as a garden. If you keep the garbage of the past, no flowers can grow. Forgiveness is cleaning that garden so that light and wind may enter. Only then can peace bloom within. A small practice. Each night before sleep, close your eyes and recall someone who hurt you. Breathe in deeply, exhale softly, and whisper, "I understand and I let go." At first, your heart may ache, your voice may tremble, but if you persist, one day you will truly feel light. Forgiveness is not an instant act, but a gradual journey. Like water slowly wearing down stone, patient practice will open the way for peace to return. The one who forgives does not forget. They simply no longer hurt when remembering. They can look back with serenity, understanding that everything happened as it had to, so they could learn what needed to be learned. And with that understanding, they feel gratitude instead of resentment. The Buddha taught, "Letting go of hatred is the shortest path to peace." The past cannot be changed, but the way we see it can. When we choose forgiveness, we choose freedom. When we choose to release, we choose life. Only with a light heart can we move forward. Perhaps today you cannot yet forgive, cannot yet let go. That's all right. Just move a little closer each day toward understanding and compassion. Forgiveness is not a destination. It is a journey back to the pure heart that has always been yours. When we learn to forgive, our faces soften, our voices grow gentle, our steps become light. For in each breath we no longer carry the past, and in each smile we know we have saved ourselves. By forgiving everyone, including those who hurt us, and including the person we once were. Throughout life, we spend much time trying to understand others, what they think, what they want, what they love, what they hate. Yet few ever take the time to truly understand themselves. The Buddha taught, "Better to conquer yourself than to win 1,000 battles." For understanding others is knowledge, but understanding oneself is wisdom. When we do not know ourselves, we live being driven by emotions and reacting to circumstances. But when we understand ourselves, we begin to live with awareness, intention, and peace. To understand oneself is to look deeply within, not to judge, but to recognize. We can ask, what am I sad about? What am I afraid of? What is making me uneasy? Only by daring to face ourselves can we transform. Like a dark room, if we never turn on the light, we will never know what is inside. The light of understanding is that lamp which reveals our inner world, both the parts we love and the parts we've avoided. Many people spend their lives running away from themselves. They fear silence, fear loneliness, fear facing the emptiness inside. Yet the more they flee, the larger that emptiness grows. In truth, within silence, we are not lonely, we are returning home. When we listen to ourselves, we begin to heal old wounds. We understand why we are angry, why we are hurt, why we react the way we do. And then we stop blaming ourselves. We begin to speak to ourselves with compassion instead of judgment. Once, someone asked a Zen master, "I have practiced for many years but still suffer. Is it because I lack meditation or wisdom?" The master replied, "No, it is because you do not yet understand yourself. For meditation is not only sitting still with closed eyes, but observing the mind in every moment. When the mind gives rise to thought, we know. When it is restless, we know. When it is calm, we know. Simply knowing already begins to bring peace." In Buddhism, there is the practice of observing the mind, looking deeply to see the root of every emotion. When we see the root, it dissolves. Just as when we realize our anger arises from hurt, that very moment the anger softens. Understanding is the beginning of letting go. There is no need to suppress or reject. Simply seeing clearly allows everything to settle naturally. Understanding oneself not only brings inner peace, but also deepens compassion for others. When we see the suffering within our own hearts, we no longer wish to judge anyone else. We realize that everyone carries a story, a wound, a fear. Seeing this, our hearts soften, and compassion naturally blooms. The Buddha said, "When you see the true nature of suffering, love arises." That is why understanding and love always walk together. Those who do not understand themselves often live in contradiction. They want peace, yet chase after what disturbs the mind. They want love, yet act in ways that cause hurt. They want happiness, yet cling to things that cannot bring true joy. Every form of human suffering begins with a lack of self-understanding. Self-understanding requires no complexity. Each day, spend a few moments observing the mind. When someone says something unpleasant, instead of reacting instantly, ask yourself, why does this upset me? Are they truly wrong, or have they touched something fragile inside me? When we pause and look deeply, we see that many things we blame on others actually arise from within ourselves. And when we see this, we stop being pulled by them. Someone once asked, "Master, how can I stop being angry at others?" The master smiled. "You don't need to try not to be angry. Just understand the anger. When we understand anger, we see behind it the pain, the longing to be loved. When understanding arises, anger dissolves without suppression. Like a lamp, when light appears, darkness disappears on its own. To understand oneself is also to see the impermanent nature of body and mind. Emotions come and go. Today we are sad, tomorrow we are joyful. Today we are disappointed, tomorrow we hope again. Nothing within us lasts forever. When we see this, we are no longer controlled by emotions. We realize we are the observer, not the anger, not the fear, not the past. A man once said, "I want to find peace." The Zen master asked, "Who is the one seeking?" The man was silent. The master said, "When you see the seeker, you will realize peace is nowhere but within you." Indeed, all answers lie inside. When we understand ourselves, the search outside becomes unnecessary. Understanding oneself does not end in knowledge. It is a continuous awakening. When eating, know you are eating. When walking, know you are walking. When speaking, know you are speaking. In those small acts, you understand yourself more deeply, and each time you return closer to your true self, the one untouched by fame, gain, praise, or blame. When we understand ourselves, we no longer need to prove anything to the world, for we know understanding is enough. When we understand, love naturally arises, and when love arises, peace follows. Understanding is the path that leads to compassion, and compassion is what brings us home. Therefore, if one day your heart feels tangled, stop running, just pause. Inhale, knowing you are breathing in. Exhale, smiling softly to yourself. In that simple act, you begin the journey of self-understanding, the journey back to your Buddha nature, where there has never been confusion or sorrow, only the light of awareness and boundless love. In a world constantly demanding more wealth, more fame, more comfort, those who can stop and say, "Enough," are the truly happy ones. The Buddha taught, "One who knows contentment, even sleeping on the ground, finds joy. One who does not know contentment, even in heaven, still feels lacking." This simple teaching holds profound wisdom about the nature of suffering and happiness. Happiness does not belong to those who have much, but to those who know they have enough. Contentment does not mean lack of effort, but freedom from greed. In Buddhism, greed is not only for wealth or power, but also for emotions, craving praise, love, superiority. The more we want, the more restless we become. The more restless, the more we suffer. For the nature of greed is never to be satisfied. Like drinking seawater, the more you drink, the thirstier you grow. When we stop, the thirst ends. And in that moment, we realize happiness has never left us. An old story tells of a wealthy king who asked a Zen master, "You say that one who knows contentment is happy, but if I have nothing, how can I be content?" The master smiled, "Your Majesty, if you know that a full meal, a peaceful sleep, someone to love, and a calm heart are enough, then you already have everything." The king was silent for a long while, realizing that the higher he climbed in power, the further he had drifted from the simple things that once made him happy. True contentment does not come from outside, but from deep realization within. Some live in humble huts, yet their hearts are joyful. Others dwell in golden palaces, but lie awake in unease. For enough or not enough is not about possessions, but perception. When the heart feels enough, every life is beautiful. When it feels lacking, even the world cannot fill it. Those who do not know contentment live like travelers in a desert, always thirsty. They keep chasing more, forgetting that true happiness lies in the cool drops they once had. They compare, envy, and strive to prove themselves better than others, unaware that every person walks a different path. Thus, their hearts are never at rest. The Buddha taught, "No one is richer than one who knows contentment, and no one is poorer than one who is greedy." When we begin to practice contentment, we start finding joy in simple things. A humble meal, a morning of sunlight, an afternoon rain, a sincere smile. Each becomes precious because we no longer take them for granted. When the heart feels enough, we stop chasing victories, stop needing to prove ourselves. We are grateful for what is here, and within that gratitude, peace blooms like a lotus rising from the mud. A disciple once asked the Buddha, "Lord, who is truly wealthy?" The Buddha replied, "The one who is content." For if the heart always feels lacking, even a mountain of gold cannot make one rich. But if the heart feels full, even a bowl of rice is abundance. Contentment is the art of the awakened. They do not let possessions rule their emotions, but let wisdom guide their way of living. When we know contentment, our hearts grow gentle. We no longer envy others' success, nor resent our own difficulties. We see that everything unfolds by cause and condition. Each reaps what they sow, and our portion is always fitting for our path. From that insight, greed transforms into gratitude and competition turns into generosity. Ask yourself, how much do I truly need today to be at peace? Perhaps the answer is nothing more. Only a little less comparison, less craving, less concern for how others see us. When we lessen, we gain. Less greed, more peace. Less talking, more calm. Less attachment, more freedom. A Zen master once said, "Those who know enough are not swayed by the world. They live like the wind, passing gently without gathering dust." When we dwell in contentment, we no longer suffer over gain or loss, praise or blame. We know that all things are impermanent, and because they are impermanent, we cherish every moment we have. Contentment is also a way of keeping the mind in the present. When we crave more, the mind runs toward the future. When we regret, it lingers in the past. But when we say, "Enough," the mind rests here and now, and only in this moment do we truly live. There is a saying, when you realize you have enough, you begin to live like the richest person in the world. Indeed, those who know enough cannot be worn down by life, for they are not dragged along by desire. They live simply but deeply. They do less but live fully. They own little but give much. And in all they do, we see the mark of freedom, a freedom born only when the heart no longer feels lacking. If each of us could learn the word enough, how much lighter the world would become. When everyone knows enough, there will be no more fighting, no more jealousy, no more hatred. We will realize that happiness is not in having more than others, but in treasuring what we already have. And when we know enough, we not only suffer less, but radiate peace to others. Like a still lake reflecting the sky, a contented heart reflects the entire universe in its quiet beauty. We live in an age where people have nearly everything: smartphones, social networks, beautiful homes, fine cars, abundant food, yet lack the most essential thing: inner peace. Never before has material life been so rich, and never before has the human soul felt so empty. The Buddha said, "The more one desires, the farther one drifts from peace." Thus, living simply is not about having less, but about returning to the purity of life itself. Simplicity does not mean giving up everything. It means choosing what is truly necessary. Among countless temptations, we discern what brings peace and what brings chaos. The simple person does not fill the heart with meaningless things. They choose less, but choose deeply. They do not chase appearances, but seek genuine value. Simplicity is the art of letting go of the excess to keep the essence. Someone once asked, "Is it realistic to live simply in the modern world, where everyone is rushing, everyone wants more?" The answer is yes, if we begin from within. For simplicity is first a state of mind, not merely a way of living. When the heart no longer needs to prove, compete, or compare, life naturally becomes light. Even in the busiest city, one can still keep a simple soul, like a lotus growing in the mud, yet unstained and pure. Simplicity in speech means speaking just enough, without boasting, without judging, without trying to win. Simplicity in action means doing what is truly useful, not performing for appearances. Simplicity in the heart means not holding too many grudges, not carrying too many worries. When we live simply in these ways, we find freedom. For all complexity is born of attachment. When attachment lessens, lightness arises. A Zen master once told his disciple, "People do not suffer from lack, but from excess." When asked, "Excess of what?" the master replied, "Excess of thinking, craving, and worry." Indeed, most of our exhaustion does not come from work, but from restless minds, always comparing, calculating, burdened by too many unnecessary things. If we can let go, happiness will have space to enter. Simplicity also means living truthfully with oneself. We need not strain to be loved or act to be admired. A simple person can smile when misunderstood, remain silent when there is no need to argue, and live true to their gentle nature. They no longer need to prove worth, for they know that true value lies not in praise, but in inner peace. Take a look around. How many things have we bought because we truly needed them? And how many because we feared being less than others? How many relationships do we keep out of love, and how many out of fear of loneliness? To live simply is to be honest with our real needs. When we see what we truly need, we stop, and when we stop, we are at peace. Someone once asked the Buddha, "What is happiness?" The Buddha replied, "It is when you need nothing more." That is the essence of simplicity. Less but deeper. Less possessions, more peace. Fewer words, more understanding. Fewer desires, more gratitude. Simplicity helps us rediscover the beauty in every moment. When we are no longer controlled by excess, we begin to notice what we once overlooked. The bird's song at dawn, the aroma of coffee, sunlight filtering through leaves, the warm breath of a loved one nearby. Each of these simple moments holds a profound happiness within. Living simply is also about having enough within and cleansing both life and mind. Do not let your home be cluttered with unnecessary objects. Do not let your mind be filled with unnecessary thoughts. Each time you tidy your space, you are also tidying your heart. A clean home reflects a clear mind. The fewer distractions around you, the more vividly you can hear the pulse of life. In this age of technology, living simply may mean nothing more than turning off your phone for a while, logging off social media for an hour to return to your breath, to presence. It is spending real time talking with loved ones or sitting quietly under the sky without needing to capture it in a picture. Such small, ordinary moments are the medicine that restores the soul after long days of busyness. Those who live simply radiate a calm energy. They walk slowly, their gaze is gentle, their smile light. Meeting them brings peace even without words, for they carry no burden of must be, must have, or must win. They simply are, and in that simplicity lies a rare beauty in this complex world. Simplicity does not make us poor, it makes us rich in another way, rich in heart, rich in understanding, rich in peace. When we desire less, everything feels sufficient. When we compete less, everyone seems worthy of compassion. When we chase less, we realize happiness was never gone. Remember, to live simply is not to live less. It is to live deeper, deep in each breath, each glance, each small act. And in that depth, we rediscover ourselves, still clear and unshaken by life's turbulence. In this world, nothing lasts forever. Youth fades into age, strength into frailty, arrivals turn into departures. That is the unchanging law of existence. The Buddha called it impermanence, a truth that, when deeply understood, frees us from much suffering. For most pain arises from our resistance to change. We wish to keep those we love forever, to hold on to joy, fame, health, wealth. But impermanence listens to no one. It comes like the wind and goes like the clouds. Only when we can smile at impermanence do we truly live in peace amidst this ever-changing world. The Buddha taught, all conditioned phenomena are impermanent, arising and passing away. When one sees this with wisdom, one turns away from suffering. It sounds simple, yet to truly feel it requires profound mindfulness. People often say, Life is impermanent only when facing loss. Then soon after return to clinging. We fear impermanence, yet forget that without it, pain would also never end. Without impermanence, wounds would not heal, the rain would never stop, the night would never give way to dawn. A Zen master once said, "Impermanence is not to be feared, only ignorance of it is." For when we understand, we see impermanence as the very breath of life. Each moment we breathe is impermanence unfolding. Nothing is fixed, and because of that, everything remains alive and new. Leaves fall so young buds can grow, the day fades so dawn may come, beings die so others may be born. Impermanence does not destroy life, it sustains it through transformation. One day, when you see your loved ones growing old, do not grieve. Smile in gratitude. It reminds you to cherish the moments you still have together. When you notice your own wrinkles, see them as the signatures of time, evidence that you have lived, laughed, loved, and wept. Every mark upon your body is proof of a life fully felt. Impermanence also teaches us to let go. Knowing that all things change, we no longer cling. When people come, we welcome them. When they go, we bid farewell. The beauty of today may fade tomorrow, yet we do not mourn, because we understand that beauty lies not in the object, but in the heart that sees it. Thanks to impermanence, flowers bloom and wither, seasons shift, and each new day offers us another chance to begin again. Many fear impermanence because they think it takes away what they love. But in truth, impermanence is the teacher of love. Because nothing lasts forever, we learn to treasure the present. Because people can leave, we learn to speak kindly, live gently, and love deeply. If life were not impermanent, perhaps we would never learn to care. An old monk once said, "In my youth, I wanted everything to stay the same. Love, wealth, joy. But the longer I lived, the more grateful I became for impermanence, for through it, I discovered what is real." When we understand impermanence, we no longer fear loss, because we see that nothing truly disappears. It only transforms. Death is not an end, but a continuation in another form, like a drop of water merging with the ocean. In meditation, there is a practice called contemplating impermanence. The practitioner sits quietly, observing the breath, the body, the feelings, seeing that all are changing. The breath comes and goes. Joy arises and fades. Thoughts appear and dissolve. Seeing this clearly, the heart becomes light. We no longer cling to happiness, nor resist sorrow. We simply observe, simply know, and let everything pass, like clouds drifting across the sky. That is dwelling peacefully within impermanence. Living with the truth of impermanence does not make us pessimistic. It makes us live more deeply. Knowing that today could be the last time we see someone we love, we speak words of kindness now, not later. Knowing that life can change in an instant, we no longer waste days in anger or indifference. One who understands impermanence does not fear death, nor life, for both are part of the same vast flow. Look at a falling leaf. It leaves the branch, yet is not lost. It returns to the earth, nourishes the tree, and from that, new buds will bloom. So too are we. When we understand that we are but part of the great cycle of the universe, we cease to see ourselves as its center. Humility arises, the heart opens, and in that openness, we see that all beings are precious. Impermanence teaches us to live, to love, and to let go. To live because we will not waste a single breath. To love because we know separation will come. To let go because clinging is futile, but release is freedom. When we embrace impermanence, our hearts become steady, standing firm like a pine tree in the wind, smiling like a lotus in the rain. And when we truly understand that impermanence is not loss but the miracle of life itself, we cease to fear, for each passing day is not something taken away, but something given. Each change is not an ending, but a doorway to something new. Impermanence does not make life sadder. It makes life infinitely more precious, more alive, and more worth living. There is a familiar saying, "The tighter you hold, the more you lose." It may sound like a simple life lesson, yet it contains the profound spirit of the Buddha's teaching. The Buddha taught that all human suffering arises from attachment to people, possessions, reputation, emotions, and to how we believe things should be. But life never follows our expectations. Everything arises and fades, forms and dissolves according to conditions. When we try to hold on to what cannot be held, we only hurt ourselves. When we let go, we do not lose. We become free. Letting go does not mean indifference or neglect. It means ceasing to force, ceasing to demand that life obey our will. Someone once said, "I've let go, but I'm still in pain." The Buddha smiled, "Because you've only released with your hands, not with your heart. Letting go with the hands is an outward act. Letting go with the heart is inner liberation. When we truly understand that nothing belongs to us forever, our hearts naturally become as light as clouds. Once a man lamented to a Zen master, "I can't forget my past love." The master asked, "When you hold a burning coal, do you suffer because of the coal or because you refuse to release it?" The man was silent. Letting go is not forgetting, but allowing everything to return to its rightful place. Let those who have left go. Let the pain of the past dissolve. When we stop clinging, healing begins. The Buddha taught all suffering stems from attachment. We cling to I, to mine, to must be as I wish. The greater the ego, the deeper the suffering. But when we see that we are only a small part of the vast web of causes and conditions, we stop trying to possess. We begin to live lightly, naturally, like water flowing, like clouds drifting. Letting go is the journey of understanding and compassion. Only through understanding can we truly release. Without understanding, we feel only loss. When we see that everything arises from causes, that no one owes anyone, that coming and going are natural, we stop resisting. We smile in acceptance, no resentment, no complaint. Letting go does not weaken us. It takes great courage to release. A grieving mother once asked a monk, "How can I live after losing my only child?" The monk replied, "You have not lost your child. You have only parted for a while. Just as a flower that withers is not gone, it returns to the soil to give birth to new blossoms." The mother fell silent, then wept, but this time without bitterness. For when we understand impermanence, letting go becomes as natural as breathing. Letting go does not mean cutting all bonds. It means keeping serenity even amid connection. Those who know how to let go still love, still give their all, but do not let love become a chain. They love without fear of loss, help without expecting return, give without regret. They know that all goodness offered with a pure heart will return in another form, sooner or later. Some say, "I'm afraid to let go because if I don't hold on, I'll lose everything." But what can we truly hold? Health, beauty, wealth, even loved ones, all change. Letting go does not make us lose. It allows us to live fully in the present. Only when we are not bound by the past or anxious about the future do we experience true freedom. Thich Nhat Hanh once said, "Letting go is not loss. It is creating space for peace to bloom." Indeed, when the heart is crowded with worries, peace has no room to enter. But when we clear the heart by releasing what no longer serves, joy enters like sunlight through an open window. Try practicing letting go in daily life. Let go of the need to always be right so you can truly listen. Let go of comparison so you can be happy with yourself. Let go of excessive expectations so you can cherish small things. Let go of self-blame so you can learn to love yourself. As you release little by little, your heart will grow lighter with each step. Letting go is not an instant act, but a gradual process of transformation, from understanding to peace. When we understand, the heart softens. When the heart softens, the hands open. This is the path of wisdom, not of force. Someone once said, "When I was young, I wanted to have more. As I grew older, I wanted to keep what I had. Now, I only want to let go, to be at peace." It sounds simple, yet it reflects the true maturity of the heart. The more we let go, the wider our heart becomes. The lighter we are, the higher we rise. And finally, when we even let go of the desire to let go, what remains is pure serenity, true freedom, freedom from ourselves. At that moment, nothing binds us, nothing frightens us, nothing is desired. There is only breath, only presence, only a mind clear as a mirror, reflecting without clinging, loving without attachment, living without grasping. When we let go, life does not lose anything, only suffering fades. And in that simplicity, we realize freedom is not outside, but within the ability to pause and smile amid all change. In a noisy world where everyone wants to speak and be heard, silence has become a rare luxury. People today talk endlessly but understand little. We argue, debate, persuade, justify, yet rarely stop to listen, not only to others, but to ourselves. The Buddha taught, "When the mouth is silent, the mind is calm. When the mind is calm, wisdom shines." See, this teaching does not urge passivity, but reveals the quiet strength of stillness. Silence is not the absence of sound, but the resting of a clear mind. One may sit silently in the middle of a bustling city, yet remain peaceful within. Another may live in solitude, yet be noisy with endless thoughts. True silence is not of the lips, but of the heart. When we cease reacting, judging, and resisting life, then we hear the deepest voice, the voice of wisdom. Once, a disciple asked the Buddha, "World-honored one, when will I know that I truly understand the Dharma?" The Buddha smiled, "When you no longer need to ask, for at that moment, the mind is still." True understanding does not arise from words, but from silence. Only in silence does truth reveal itself, like a lake reflecting the sky only when the wind is still. So too the mind. When free from disturbances, truth naturally shines. Those who know silence are not silent because they have nothing to say, but because they understand that sometimes words do not help. Some matters grow distant the more we talk, tangled the more we explain, broken the more we justify. In such moments, silence is wisdom. The Buddha taught, "The wise speak little. When they speak, their words are like flowers, beautiful and fragrant. Each word is a seed. If you are unsure whether the seed is wholesome, it is best not to sow it." Silence is also a form of compassion. When someone is angry, instead of responding, we remain silent. Not because we are weak, but because we understand that anger is only a passing storm. If we speak at that moment, the wind will grow stronger, the waves higher. But if we remain silent, the storm will dissolve on its own. A single moment of timely silence can save a relationship, a family, even a life. A Zen master once said, "Those who speak too much lose energy. Those who remain silent at the right time radiate it." Indeed, silence is not the absence of communication, but the wisdom to speak when needed and to stop when enough has been said. In that pause, we see more clearly. Silence allows us to hear what words often obscure: the sadness behind someone's eyes, the loneliness hidden in a forced smile, or the quiet sigh following a soft, I'm fine. There was once an old monk who sat silently for hours each day beneath a Bodhi tree. Someone asked, "Master, why do you sit here like this?" He replied, "I sit to listen." "Listen to what?" the man asked. The master smiled. "To the voice of life, to understand, to love." In the monk's stillness resided an entire sky of wisdom, for only when we stop speaking can we truly hear the call of compassion within. Silence is also nourishment for peaceful energy. When we are silent, our energy is not scattered outward. We preserve our clarity. With each breath, we can feel life unfolding without needing to describe it. When the mind is calm, we no longer seek victory, no longer crave to prove or to be right. We simply are, like a flower blooming quietly, not announcing itself, yet filling the whole garden with fragrance. There are pains that need no words, only silent presence. There are mistakes that need no analysis, only an understanding look. There are wounds that need no explanation, only the warmth of being there. In such moments, silence becomes the language of love. However, silence does not mean indifference. The Buddha taught that silence has value only when it is joined with mindfulness and compassion. If we are silent out of fear, that is avoidance. If we are silent to escape truth, that is ignorance. But if we are silent to keep peace in the heart, to avoid sowing new karma, to allow others to listen to themselves, that is the silence of wisdom. Those who know how to live in silence are free from the noise of the ego. They no longer need to win to be right or to be heard. They no longer need to triumph because they know that sometimes silence itself is the greatest victory, the victory over the self. Try devoting a few minutes each day to silence. No phone, no music, no conversation. Just sit quietly and listen to your breath. At first, it may feel difficult because the mind is unused to stillness. But gradually, you will discover within that quiet an immense source of strength, the energy of serenity and clarity. And one day, when your mind is still enough, you will realize that silence is not emptiness, but the fullness of presence. In silence, you do not need to speak, to search, or to hope. Every answer already exists, waiting for you to be still enough to hear. And when you finally hear that silence, the silence of the universe, the silence of the Buddha within, you will smile. For in that moment, you will know that all suffering dissolves in stillness, and peace has never left you. Today, the world is polluted not only by smoke and dust, but also by the pollution of consciousness. Each day we are flooded with information, gossip, envy, harsh words, and chaotic images. Thus, people easily lose the original purity of the heart. The Buddha taught, "The mind is like water. Only when it is clear can the moon be reflected." To see truth and peace, we must first learn to keep our hearts pure amid a troubled world. To keep the mind pure does not mean to withdraw from life, but to live within it without being swept away. Like the lotus, which grows from mud, yet remains unstained. A pure heart sees without judging, listens without being pulled, and lives amid the dust of the world while still carrying the fragrance of compassion. In the sutras, the Buddha compared a mindful person to a bee gathering nectar. It takes the sweetness without harming the flower. Likewise, one who keeps a pure heart does not reject the world, but chooses carefully what to absorb and what to release. They do not let anger, greed, or envy poison the mind. They still live, work, and interact. But every word and action carries mindfulness. In modern society, the mind is easily clouded by small things. A harsh comment, a negative post, a false rumor can disturb us for days. That is because the mind too readily absorbs negativity. The Buddha said, "Do not let the dust of the world dull the mirror of the heart. The mirror is already bright, but if we do not wipe it clean, dust will cover it. Thus, each day we must polish the heart as we would a mirror. How do we polish it? By returning to the breath and to mindfulness. Whenever the mind wavers, breathe deeply and exhale, bringing yourself back to the present. When angry, know you are angry. When anxious, know you are anxious. That simple awareness will calm the inner waves. No need to fight or suppress. Just observe. Like mud settling, the water will clear on its own. Another way to keep the heart pure is to limit contact with negative energy. Avoid getting caught in meaningless arguments, gossip, or news that disturbs the soul. It is not escaping the world, but engaging it mindfully. We still know, still hear, but we do not cling. Like walking through the rain, feeling the drops, yet keeping our robe dry. A pure heart also grows from gratitude and love. When we look at life with gratitude, the world becomes gentler. When we look at others with compassion, resentment disappears. Anger is born of attachment. Love is born of understanding. When we see that everyone suffers in their own way, we no longer wish to add to anyone's pain. And in that wish to cause no harm, our hearts become pure. The Buddha taught, do not hope for the world to be at peace. Learn to keep your heart at peace within the world. Life will always change. People will always praise and blame, agree and oppose. But if every wave of emotion shakes your heart, peace will never last. Keeping the heart pure means standing still in the storm, smiling amid gossip, quietly doing good without needing to be seen. Once a monk was slandered and misunderstood by many. His disciple asked angrily, "Master, why don't you defend yourself?" The monk smiled. "When others throw mud, I need not pick it up. When they tire, they will stop. As for me, I only need to keep my heart clear." That is the spirit of purity. Instead of reacting, one simply abides in peace. Keeping the mind pure is not easy, for we must face countless tests, temptation, praise and blame, failure and loss. Yet these very challenges are the exams of the heart. Without dust, how could we know the lotus is pure? Without adversity, how could we know our mind is steady? Each day, give yourself a few moments of stillness. It need not be long, just a few quiet breaths of peace. No matter how noisy the world becomes, if your mind is calm, you can still hear the rhythm of serenity in every breath. Then you will realize that purity of mind is not found in avoiding life, but in understanding it without being swept away. Like the lotus that grows in mud, yet remains fragrant and bright, those who keep a pure heart amid the world's pollution need not explain or prove themselves. Their presence alone is proof of peace. When the mind is pure, speech becomes gentle, eyes warm and actions light. Those around us feel peace without our saying a word, for a calm heart radiates the strongest energy. And finally, we see that keeping the mind pure is not an act, but a way of being. Living in the world without being of it, among people without losing oneself, amid dust yet remaining as clear as still water. No one escapes suffering, whether rich or poor, powerful or ordinary. Everyone has their share of pain, from loss, loneliness, or unfulfilled desire. Yet what matters is not whether we suffer, but how we face it. The Buddha taught, suffering is truth, but suffering is also the path. Seen deeply, suffering is the greatest teacher, the bridge to wisdom and liberation. In his first sermon after enlightenment, the Buddha revealed the four noble truths, the first being dukkha, life is suffering. But he did not say this to invoke despair. He said it so we may see clearly the nature of suffering and the way beyond it. Suffering is not for lamenting, but for understanding and transforming. When we do not understand suffering, it drowns us. When we begin to understand, we learn to swim. And when we transcend it, we become a light for others. The awakened do not avoid suffering. They use it as the path. Just as steel is hardened by fire, so too is the mind refined by pain. Through suffering, the heart softens and wisdom shines. Someone once asked the Buddha, "Why do I suffer so much?" The Buddha replied, "Because you have not looked deeply into your suffering. When we look directly at our pain, without running or blaming, we discover precious lessons within it. Loss teaches gratitude. Loneliness teaches return. Betrayal teaches release. Misunderstanding teaches listening. Every wound, when illuminated by mindfulness, becomes a jewel of wisdom." The Buddha did not teach us to end suffering by rejecting it, but to transform it through understanding. When we see that its roots are greed, anger, and ignorance, we stop blaming others. When we see suffering as attachment, we learn to let go. When we see it as delusion, we learn to perceive with clarity. Then suffering ceases to be an enemy and becomes a teacher of growth. A man once lost everything in a fire. Crying, he told a Zen master, "Master, I've lost it all." "Ah, he. The master asked, "Have you lost yourself?" "No," the man said. The master smiled. "Then you've lost nothing. Only when you lose yourself in suffering do you lose everything." The man awoke in that instant and began anew, grateful simply to still have breath and life. When seen through the eyes of wisdom, suffering becomes fertile soil for compassion. Only those who have suffered can truly understand the pain of others. Those untouched by hardship rarely grasp the heart of the wounded. Thus, those who have walked through darkness carry true light within. They love more, speak softer, and live with greater kindness. In this way, pain transforms into the energy of love. The Buddha taught, "From the mud, the lotus blooms." The lotus does not escape the mud, it grows through it. Likewise, the practitioner does not fear adversity, for it is the ground on which the mind is trained. When hardship arises, do not ask, "Why me?" Instead, ask, "What is this here to teach me?" That question turns pain into wisdom, complaint into insight, and obstacles into opportunities. Everyone seeks peace, but if we only wish for peace without learning from pain, that peace will be shallow. True peace comes from standing firm within suffering. When storms come, only deep-rooted trees remain. When pain comes, only the wise endure. They do not flee, they observe, listen, learn, and transform. Someone once said, "I no longer fear suffering, for I know it comes to help me see myself." Indeed, each pain is life's gentle reminder that we have wandered from our center. When we pause, suffering becomes a mirror guiding us home. Suffering also tests our perseverance and faith. In the darkest nights, we may lose wealth, status, and relationships, but if we keep faith in the goodness of the heart, we never lose all. Even the smallest light within is enough to guide us through the night. The Buddha said, "Fire tests gold, adversity tests strength." Likewise, challenges exist to make us stronger and more compassionate. Do not wish for an easy life, wish for a steady mind. For when the mind is firm, no storm can shake it. And one day, when you can smile at what once made you suffer, you will see, pain never came to harm you. It came to teach you to slow down, to love deeper, to let go easier, to awaken sooner. Then you will no longer fear suffering, for behind it lies the path to peace. Remember always, suffering is not a full stop, but a comma on the journey of awakening. When we walk through it with wisdom and compassion, suffering cannot defeat us. It refines us, strengthens us, and makes us shine brighter. For in suffering, the Buddha nature within us is awakened. In life, no one has never felt anger. Sometimes we get angry from misunderstanding, from feeling unappreciated, or from careless words. Anger rises like a sudden storm, sweeping away peace and clarity. But the Buddha taught, no one can make you suffer except your own anger. Anger is like fire. Once lit, it burns joy, reason, and compassion. Those who nurture anger are like people holding burning coals to throw at others. Before they harm anyone else, they burn themselves first. Anger begins as a small spark, but if we feed it with thoughts and words, it becomes a raging blaze. Then we easily say things that wound others, only to regret them later. Anger never makes us stronger. It only makes us lose ourselves. The more anger we carry, the farther we drift from wisdom. The wiser we become, the sooner we know to stop. The Buddha once said, "One who conquers himself is greater than one who conquers 1,000 armies." The greatest enemy is not outside, but within. It is anger. Before practicing, we let others control our emotions. A single word or glance could make us furious, but with practice, we realize others only stir the wind. Whether we let it blow into our hearts is up to us. Once a man insulted the Buddha harshly, yet the Buddha remained silent. When the man left, a disciple asked, "World-honored one, why did you say nothing?" The Buddha smiled. "If someone offers me a gift and I do not accept it, to whom does it belong?" The disciple answered, "To the giver." The Buddha said, "Exactly, they brought anger. I did not receive it, so it remains theirs." This story holds deep wisdom. We cannot control others, but we can control our response. Anger cannot be extinguished by anger, only by love and understanding. When someone hurts us, instead of seeing only pain, look deeply and see their suffering. A happy person does not cause pain. Those who hurt others simply do not know how to love. When we understand this, resentment fades, replaced by compassion, and anger dissolves. A story tells of a woman who carried anger for 10 years after being betrayed by a friend. One day she asked a Zen master, "How can I stop being angry?" The master handed her a burning coal and said, "Hold it until you've had enough." After a moment, her hand burned and she dropped it in pain. The master said, "Anger is like that. The longer you hold it, the more it burns. When you release it, the pain ends." She wept, realizing that all those years she had been burning herself with her own anger. To overcome anger, the first step is awareness. When anger arises, do not suppress it and do not let it control you. Simply recognize, "I am angry." The moment you notice it, you have stepped outside it. Then breathe deeply. Inhale, know you are inhaling. Exhale, know you are exhaling. When the breath returns, the mind returns. Anger lives only when the mind is absent. When the mind is present, anger fades. Second, reflect on the cause of anger. Often we are angry because we expect others to behave as we wish. When they don't, we suffer. But no one fully understands another's heart. Everyone has their own karma and conditions. When we see this, we stop forcing others to match our expectations. And naturally, the heart softens. Third, cultivate gratitude. Whenever you are angry with someone, recall the good they have done or the lessons they've taught you. Anger is fire, gratitude is water. When we water the fire of anger with gratitude, it goes out. No one is entirely bad. Sometimes they simply lack clarity. And we too have spoken or acted carelessly, causing others pain. Remembering that brings lightness to the heart. In the Dhammapada, the Buddha said, "He who is angry is defeated." The person who angers us holds the key to our peace. With just one word or action, they can disturb our sleep and our joy. Do we really want to hand our peace over to others like that? Once we understand this, we will choose to guard our own calm, no matter who stirs the storm. Anger also reveals how far we've come in our practice. When someone angers us, it's a mirror, showing whether we truly understand, love, and are at peace. If not, see it as a lesson, not a failure. The more people test our temper, the more chances we have to refine our heart. As someone once said, those who make you angry are your hidden teachers. They help you awaken fastest. Do not fear anger. Observe it with mindfulness. When we are calm enough to watch it, the flame becomes light that illuminates the mind. In that light, we see our ego, our greed, hatred, and delusion at work. And seeing them is the beginning of liberation. A true practitioner is not one who never gets angry, but one who knows how to make peace with anger. Anger may still arise, but it passes gently like a breeze, leaving no ashes behind. Then the mind becomes soft and kind, like a lake after rain, clear and reflective. A heart free of anger is vast. It is not easily hurt or shaken. It knows only compassion, understanding, and release. That is true peace, the mind mastering itself. Forgiveness is not easy, especially when we've been deeply hurt. Some wounds live not only in memory, but in the heart. When recalled, they reopen. Yet the Buddha taught, holding on to hatred is like drinking poison and expecting another to die. When we refuse to forgive, we suffer first. Forgiveness, then, is not a gift for others, but a gift of freedom we give ourselves. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting or condoning wrongdoing. It means freeing the mind from the chains of the past. We may remember, but without pain. We may look back, but without resentment. Then the past loses its power over us. Forgiveness cannot change what happened, but it changes how we see it. Someone once said, before forgiveness, we are victims. After forgiveness, we are free. Deep truth lies in those words. Hatred weighs the heart down and leaves no space for peace. The more we dwell on another's faults, the more we lose our own serenity. Only by letting go of hatred can the door to peace open. One day, a man told a Zen master, "Master, I cannot forgive. I've tried, but every time I remember, the pain returns." The master said gently, "Forgiveness is not forgetting in a day. It melts slowly, like ice. Each time you choose not to feed resentment, a little more ice melts." Forgiveness comes not from reason, but from understanding and love. When we see that the one who hurt us is also suffering, our hearts naturally soften. The Buddha taught, hatred is never ended by hatred. Only love can end hatred. Those who harm us are often victims of their own pain. They act not because they wish to, but because they know no other way. Seeing this, we no longer hate them. We feel compassion. And in that compassion, forgiveness arises naturally without effort. Forgiveness is also self-protection. When we cling to resentment, negative energy poisons both body and mind. Those who stay angry grow weary, their faces darken, their health declines. But when we let go, body and mind heal together. Like a river blocked by rocks, the water becomes stagnant and murky. When we remove the stones of hatred, the water clears and flows freely once again. Someone once said, "I forgive, but I cannot forget." In truth, forgiveness does not require forgetting. It requires letting go. We may still remember the past, but without being ruled by negative emotion. We remember, yet with calm. Remember to understand. Remember to love, not to resent or blame. Then memory becomes a lesson, not a wound. Forgiveness is also a journey of returning to oneself. When we are still angry with someone, our heart remains bound to them. But when we forgive, we reclaim our freedom. We stop living in another's shadow and return to the light of our own heart. To practice forgiveness, first face the pain directly. Do not avoid it. Feel it, but do not let it control you. Breathe deeply and whisper within, "I see my suffering and I choose to release it." Then remember that we too have made mistakes and unintentionally caused others pain. Everyone has moments of weakness and confusion. Understanding this makes the heart softer and more compassionate. Forgiveness is not a single act, but a continual process. Sometimes we think we've forgiven, yet days later, the ache returns. That's okay. Each time we notice, we simply come back, breathe, and release again. Forgiveness is like training the mind. With each practice, it grows softer, lighter, clearer. When we truly forgive, the heart expands like the sky. Resentment dissolves like clouds, leaving only the light of understanding and love. We can look upon those who once hurt us with gentle eyes, not because we've forgotten, but because we see that they were but small parts of a journey that helped us grow. In that moment, we forgive not only others but also ourselves, for having been angry, for having suffered, for having been human. The Buddha said, "In a world of impermanence, live with compassion." Forgiveness is the expression of that compassion. It does not make us weaker, it makes us stronger. Only those with inner strength can let go. Only the wise can forgive, and only those who love can be truly free. When all hatred is released, the heart is like a bird freed from its cage, soaring high, seeing that the vast sky was never lost. We smile, realizing that everything that once caused us pain was teaching us the art of unconditional love. Forgiveness not only frees the past, but opens the future. When the heart is light, happiness naturally arrives. When resentment fades, compassion blooms. And when we stop needing to win or lose, we have entered the path of true freedom. Freedom from hatred, attachment, and the small self. From birth, humans are caught in the cycle of gain and loss, victory and defeat. We rejoice when we gain, grieve when we lose. We are happy in triumph, miserable in failure. But the Buddha taught, gain and loss, praise and blame, joy and sorrow are but winds. The wise stand still amid the winds. Letting go does not mean indifference. It means living in a changing world with an unshaken heart. The Buddha also said, when the 8 worldly winds, gain, loss, fame, disgrace, praise, blame, joy, and pain, cannot move your heart, that is peace. Ordinary people are tossed by these winds because they cling too tightly to gain and fear loss. But when wisdom arises, we see that everything is temporary. What is there to gain? What is there to lose? What we call gain today may become loss tomorrow, and what we call loss may open the door to something greater. A Zen master once said, "Those who know how to let go are like an open hand. When open, things may come. When they must, they leave easily. But when clenched, all we hold is pain." This reminds us that ownership is an illusion. Nothing can be held forever. Not wealth, not loved ones, not youth, not even this body. Seeing this, we no longer fear losing, nor are we overly elated when we gain. Letting go does not mean abandoning responsibility. In fact, those who truly let go live most fully in each moment. They do their best without attachment to results. They understand that effort is theirs, but outcome belongs to causes and conditions. Therefore, success or failure, they remain at peace, like the gardener who tends with care but does not force the flower to bloom. When the season is right, it blossoms. If not, the soil is still nourished. In the scriptures, the Buddha taught, letting go is the path of the wise. When we cling, we suffer from fear of loss. When we cling to opinions, we suffer when others disagree. When we cling to status, we suffer from criticism. But when we release, we see there is nothing real to hold. All things arise and pass with conditions. We simply live mindfully in the present, do what is right, and let the winds of life pass through without carrying us away. Someone once asked the Buddha, "Master, how can I not suffer when people criticize me?" The Buddha replied, "If you are a lotus, they may say you lack fragrance, but your scent still spreads. Their words are theirs. Your fragrance is yours." Practitioners neither chase praise nor fear blame, for they know that true value lies in their deeds, not in others' mouths. Letting go also means seeing life with equality. When we no longer divide things into gain and loss, we begin to see that all experiences, pleasant or painful, are precious teachers of growth. What we call defeat may awaken us, while what we call victory may inflate our ego. Seen deeply, gain and loss are but two reflections of the same mirror, and the self remains unchanged. There is a story of a poor farmer. One day his prized horse ran away. His neighbors came to console him. "What bad luck," the farmer smiled. "Maybe." Days later, the horse returned with another wild one. The neighbors rejoiced. "What good luck," the farmer said. "Maybe." The next day, his son fell and broke his leg while riding the wild horse. The neighbors sighed. "What misfortune?" The farmer replied, "Maybe." Months later, soldiers came to draft young men for war, but his son was spared because of the injury. This story shows that gain and loss are never absolute. With a calm mind, we see that within loss lies gain. Within suffering lies grace. Those who know how to let go live like water. Water does not resist the rock. It flows around it. Because it is soft, it overcomes all. So it is with the mind. When we cease clinging, we pass through all adversity unharmed. Gentleness is the greatest strength of a cultivated heart. Letting go is the art of living in the world without being ruled by it. When we act with a pure heart, loving without seeking return, helping without seeking credit, peace naturally arises. Every action becomes an act of compassion, not a burden. Then we understand that letting go is not abandoning life, but engaging it fully, then releasing it to the flow of causes and conditions. The Buddha once said, "What comes, let it come. What goes, let it go. Do not cling, do not resist." That is the wisdom of one who understands the way. When we let go, the mind becomes like the sky. Clouds may come and go, yet the sky remains clear. And then, once we grow accustomed to living with a heart of letting go, we discover something wondrous. Life no longer feels heavy. We smile when gaining, we smile when losing. When praised, we say thank you. When criticized, we send blessings. At that moment, we walk lightly like clouds, living in the world, yet dwelling in peace as if already in a pure land. Letting go takes nothing away from us. It only frees us from clinging to what is not real. In releasing, we finally hold what is most precious, a heart that is free, lucid, and serene amid the changing tides of the world. All people seek happiness, yet few are truly happy. Most spend their lives searching for enough outside themselves, while enough is a feeling that arises within. The Buddha taught, "One who knows contentment, though lying on the ground, is filled with joy. One who does not know contentment, though in heaven, is never satisfied." Simple words, yet holding vast wisdom. A contented heart is the key that opens the gate of peace we spend our lives seeking. Contentment is not passive acceptance, but understanding that happiness lies not in having more, but in appreciating what we already have. Many believe more wealth, fame, or power will bring joy, but when they attain them, they feel emptiness instead. The craving of human desire has no end. Gain one, we want two. Have two, we want three. The more we want, the more we lack. The more we lack, the more we suffer. The contented person is one who stops at the right time, smiles at the present, and says, "This is enough." In the Anguttara Nikaya, the Buddha taught, "The one who knows contentment is the richest in the world. For wealth is not measured by possessions, but by a heart unburdened by want." Some live in small homes, yet feel light, joyful with simple meals. Others dwell in luxury, yet remain restless, fearing loss, defeat, or insignificance. The difference lies not in circumstance, but in the heart. A Zen master once said, The poorest person is not one who has nothing, but one who has everything yet never feels enough. Indeed, when the mind constantly looks outward, it forever chases mirages. But when we turn inward, we see we already have all we need: eyes to see, feet to walk, breath to live, and loved ones to cherish. Just that is enough. A contented heart keeps us peaceful amid the world's temptations. In this modern age, advertising and social media make us feel perpetually lacking beauty, wealth, success, experience. Yet the more we chase these lacks, the farther we drift from ourselves. Only when we stop do we see that life is more beautiful than we thought. Happiness is not in what we wait for, but in this very moment, when we give thanks for breath, for life, for love still present. Those with contented hearts do not compare. They do not see life through winning and losing. They care not for what others possess, but for what they can share. Thus they live lightly, free from envy, free from the urge to prove. They know that every being has their own path and karma. Contentment is the art of living in harmony with conditions, not forcing what has not yet come, nor clinging to what has passed. A story tells of a wealthy merchant who went to a Zen master, lamenting that despite having everything, he felt no joy. The master smiled and took him to a stream. He scooped up a bowl of water and said, "Drink." The man drank and said, "It's sweet and refreshing." The master replied, "Because you drank just enough. If you drank the whole stream, you would die of thirst." The merchant awoke at once. Happiness too is like that. Enough is plenty. Too much destroys. A contented heart is the root of inner freedom. When not driven by desire, we live naturally at ease. When no longer fearing loss, we can truly enjoy. When not comparing, we see beauty everywhere. Those who know enough walk slower, eat slower, speak slower, but live deeper. Each moment feels complete without haste or lack. Sometimes just an afternoon with a cup of tea, listening to the rain, brings peace enough. No distant journeys, no praise required. True happiness needs no conditions. It arises when the mind stops running, when we can say to ourselves, "I have enough to be at peace." Contentment does not mean the end of striving. The contented still work and serve, but not from ambition, rather from the joy of living rightly. They act wholeheartedly without tension, for they do not measure worth by results. Working with contentment turns effort into joy, not burden. The Buddha said, "The greatest wealth is contentment." When we understand this, we stop chasing illusions of happiness far away. Every step on this path is already happiness, if our heart is at peace. Every breath is a miracle if we are grateful, and each simple, mindful day is a day of fulfillment. A contented heart allows us to pause amid life's rush, to listen, to smile, to love. Then we no longer need anything more, for all that is essential to peace is already here. Contentment is the foundation of happiness, the root of wisdom, and the guiding light for those who wish to live freely in the world. When the heart truly knows contentment, worries dissolve like morning mist. We see that happiness lies not in how much we have, but in how deeply we cherish each breath, each glance, each simple moment that is here now. At the end of all seeking, what humans truly long for is peace. Yet the paradox is, the more we search for peace, the farther it seems. The more we crave peace, the more restless we become. The Buddha taught, there is no path to peace, for peace itself is the path. Peace is not something to be attained. It is the state that arises when we stop resisting life. Peace does not depend on how much we possess, but on how we live. Some, even in hardship, can still smile calmly. Others, with abundance, live in constant fear. Peace is not shaped by circumstance, but by a heart aligned with the flow of life. When we stop forcing the world to match our desires, stop demanding others to follow our thoughts, the heart softens naturally. We accept things as they come and go, like the breath, gentle and unbound. Living in harmony with conditions means understanding that everything in life has its reason. When a connection comes, we welcome it. When it leaves, we smile and let it go, without resistance or blame. Those who come teach us love. Those who leave teach us letting go. Every event, whether joyful or painful, is a lesson. When we see that everything happens as an opportunity to grow, we stop asking, "Why me?" and instead ask, "What is this here to teach me?" In that moment, suffering transforms into wisdom, and life becomes a sacred path of awakening. The Buddha taught, "A mind unmoved by gain and loss is peace." A peaceful heart is not one without waves, but one that knows how to stand still amid them. Life remains full of change, but those with a calm mind are not swept away. They know that the wind will cease, the rain will stop, and all that comes are but temporary guests. The only thing we truly have is the mind that knows how to return to itself. To cultivate a peaceful mind, first lay down the burdens within, the weight of the past, resentment, expectations, and fear. These do not help us move forward. They only make our steps heavy. Once we let go, life becomes lighter. We no longer need perfection, just honesty, kindness, and simplicity. When we live that way, peace finds us naturally, without invitation. Those with peaceful minds see life through gentle eyes. They do not rush to judge or argue. They understand that everyone is on their own journey. Some learning to love, some learning to let go, some learning to endure. Thus, they do not blame or despise, but quietly send blessings. In that compassion, serenity blossoms. Someone once asked a Zen master, "How can I stay peaceful in a chaotic world?" The master replied, "Do not try to make the world less chaotic. Learn instead to keep your mind from chaos. We cannot change everything outside, but we can change how we perceive it. When the mind is calm, the world is calm. When the mind is restless, even in silence, it feels turbulent. Thus, those who understand the way do not seek peaceful places. They become peaceful themselves. Peace of mind does not mean being emotionless. It means feeling without drowning in feelings. We still smile in joy, breathe in sadness, recognize anger, and act in love. But through it all, awareness remains. Like a lake reflecting clouds, clouds may come and go, but the water stays clear. So too, with mindfulness, we see our emotions clearly without being controlled by them. A peaceful heart is not indifference. It lives fully, yet remains unattached. Such a person helps others without seeking gratitude, loves without fear of loss, and gives without expectation. They understand that every kind act is a seed planted in their own heart, and one day those seeds will bloom into beautiful flowers. True happiness is not far away. It lives in the moment we pause and smile. To stop and feel the cool breeze, the sunlight on our shoulders, a loved one's smile, the bird song of morning. All these reveal life's quiet miracles. When the mind is still, we realize how wondrous existence already is. A flower, a breath, a tranquil afternoon. All are happiness, awaiting only our stillness to be seen. The Buddha said, "To dwell in the present moment is the path of the wise." The past is gone, the future not yet come. Only this moment is real. When we live fully in the present without regret, worry, or desire, peace arises in each breath. Then we understand happiness has never left us. We simply ran too far to notice. And after passing through the storms of gain and loss, anger and sorrow, we finally see happiness is not the absence of turbulence, but the ability to remain unmoved by it. Amid life's storms, we can still sit quietly, breathe gently, and smile kindly. In that moment, we have entered the realm of true freedom. From there, we no longer seek peace, for we are peace itself. All changes become reminders of our own innate stillness. Living with such a mind, we no longer need to prove anything, nor compete with anyone. We simply live, love, and smile, like a lotus radiating fragrance in the world, saying nothing yet softening every heart that passes by. Peace of mind is that fragrance. When we embody it, our life becomes a gift to ourselves and to all beings. If these reflections bring you even a little more calm and clarity, please click like to help spread this message of peace, and subscribe to Dharma in Motion to continue this journey of mindfulness in modern life. Thank you for listening. May you remain peaceful with every breath and every present moment. Dharma in Motion. Let your mind be still, and peace will find you.